sake of this assembly and all living beings, discern the wonderful Dharma will to teach us how to leave suffering, attain bliss and birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức thắng thịnh, vì đức pháp hội cấp nhập thiết chúng sanh, tiện kiến diệu pháp luân giao đạo hạ môn, như há liễu sanh thoát tự ly khổ đắc lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Thô Sư Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hô Đi San Miao Tăng Phổ Tô Sĩ Hệ. Nam mô Tát Đắc Thang Tô Già Đà Già A La Ha Đế Tam Nhiệm Tam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma, in 100,000 million aeons, is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and maintain it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning. Wu shang sheng she wei miao fa bai jie wan jie nan zao yu, wo jin jie wen de shou chi yuan jie ru lai zhen xu yi. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Shenhua, Venerable Sanghas, and all good knowing advisors, Amitabha. 诸佛菩萨、师父、各位圣贤人、各位善知識、阿彌陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Hòa Thượng Nguyên Hoa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Okay, today is the 7th day of June 2015. We are in Rosemead, California to continue discussing the Vasha Sutra. We're trying to upload a new PDF file to our website, but I could not for some reason. I updated it slightly, but it won't affect you that much. You should be on slide 117. Okay. See if you can upload the Heart Sutra file through FileZilla. Ask Xin Sure if she can upload it to the website. Okay, we are talking about the Heart Sutra, đang giảng kinh Tâm Kinh. We're discussing the five skandhas. Cái Tâm Kinh này bây giờ nhìn lại cho kỹ mới thấy rằng là đang bàn về rất phần quan trọng của cái Phật pháp là cái pháp ngủ ấm. It turns out that I've been reciting this so many years in Chinese, and I never realized that the focus of this is the basis of this is the five skandhas. The heart of the superiority of the Buddhist Dharma over non-Buddhist Dharma is the concept of the five skandhas. Cái Phật giáo chúng ta đặc điểm của Phật giáo chúng ta đó là bàn về cái ngủ ấm. Ngủ ấm là cái mà nó cái phương pháp để chúng ta cần hiểu biết để mà đắc giải thoát. You need to understand the skandha dharmas in order to attain liberation. Because the five skandhas are the five skandhas make up something called the ego. Cái ngũ ấm đó là nó cấu tạo lại, nó kết tạo lại một cái quan niệm gọi là cái ngã. Okay? Your ego, your notion of yourself is no more than all the five skandhas combined together. Cái vì mà có cái quan niệm về cái ngã của cái tôi đó là cái vì do cái sự kết hợp của cái ngũ ấm của cá nhân mình. So each one of you has your own individual five skandhas. And as long as these five skandhas are taken as real, then your ego still exists. Thành nếu như quý vị còn coi cái ngũ ấm quý vị là nó thật sự nó có, thì quý vị cái ngã cái niệm vẫn còn tồn tại. Is it clear? This is what the non-Buddhists do not understand. Bên ngoài đạo, những người ngoài Phật giáo, người ta không hiểu được cái chuyện này. They have no clue what the ego is about. Carl Jung and whoever, those great psychologists and psychoanalysts, they have no clue when they try to study the ego, the ID, the id, right? Mấy người tâm lý học gia, mấy người khoa học gia không hiểu được cái bản tính của cái ngã của con người. Thành ra họ nghiên cứu hoài họ không hiểu được. There's no way for them to comprehend that. So, yes sir.
How many Buddhists
You what?
How many Buddhists
I just admitted to you for the last 20 years as a practicing Buddhist, I even did not understand. Why do you have to keep on pressing the issue? Yeah, very few Buddhists understand it too. That's a fact.
At least they have the teaching.
But at least they have the model to try to understand. Câu này ông hỏi móc thầy, ông hỏi là bao nhiêu người Phật tử mà hiểu được cái ngũ ấm này. Thầy nói tôi mới thú thật với ông là tôi tụng cái kinh này 20 năm rồi mà tôi vẫn chưa hiểu ý nghĩa nó. Không như bây giờ ông hỏi thầy móc tôi làm cái gì. Thì mình nói cười với nhau, nói là cái thiệt ra người Phật tử ít người mới hiểu được cái này. Okay? In fact, nhưng điều cái mà quan trọng là người với Phật giáo chúng ta có một cái hỏa đồ để mà có thể phá vỡ được cái bản ngã này. Okay? So fortunately for those who are new today, những người mới tới đây, you don't know, we're in the midst of discussing the Heart Sutra. Chúng ta đang ở giữa cái phần của kinh của tâm kinh. And the prior part, just for information, we discussed the five skandhas, which are 5 cái ngũ ấm là gì? The form, which is your body, the feeling, những cái cảm tưởng quý vị, cái sắc là cái thân, cái thọ là cái cảm tưởng quý vị, cảm thọ đó, the thinking or cognition, cái óc suy nghĩ quý vị, là cái tưởng, and the activity or the formation, hành là cái tư tưởng nó tế nhị hơn một tí, và cuối cùng cái thức là cái tư tưởng rất là vi tế. And finally there's consciousness. And just before this we discussed that the sutra said that the form itself is actually empty. Thì trước đây đó thì kinh mới nói, Đức Phật mới giảng là cái sắc là không. Meaning that he went through the process to help us and to point out to us that the form, the body, for example, the body we take to be real actually is only temporary. Thành Đức Phật mới giảng trong kinh này, mới giảng phần trước á, nói cho biết là cái sắc thân này, cái thân của chúng ta đó, nó chỉ tạm bợ thôi. Okay. Nó không có thực thiệt sự có. It arose from emptiness. Okay. Cái thân này cũng giống như cái 4 uẩn còn lại, cái ngũ uẩn đó, nó đều xuất gốc từ cái chân không. There's something in Buddhism, a concept called true emptiness. Trong cái Phật giáo mình đó, có quan niệm rất là đặc biệt. Only in Mahayana do you have this concept. Bên Đại Thừa chúng ta mới có cái quan niệm gọi là chân không. True emptiness. For example, ví dụ bên Nguyên Thủy người ta có cái quan niệm là cái không. The Hinayana, they understand, they have a concept called emptiness. Okay? The emptiness there is the emptiness that you experience after you vanquished the five skandhas. Cái không mà bên Nguyên Thủy mà họ chứng nhận được ấy, là cái không mà quý vị thấy được, đã thị huệ, thể hội được, đã hiểu được khi mà cái bản ngã quý vị nó bị diệt. Ok? Thành cái không là cái không của cái bản ngã. Therefore, the emptiness that Hinayana refers to, all the Hinayana scriptures, tất cả những kinh điển của Nguyên Thủy đó, nói về cái không, they mention the concept of emptiness. The concept of emptiness is basically the emptiness of the ego. Thì cái không của bên mà kinh điển Nguyên Thủy mà giảng đó, cái không đó là nói về cái không của cái bản ngã. The emptiness of you, of your ego, cái không của cái bản ngã của quý vị. The emptiness of all things. Nó đồng ý lúc mà when I first learned about this, I heard about the concept of emptiness of the ego. Lúc đầu tôi học cái này, tôi hiểu cái quan niệm là cái không của bản ngã. And then the question arose as to if you're empty, Jocelyn, okay, you empty, you're not real, okay, your body is empty, it's not real. Then what about this thing here? Is it empty? Is this empty? Huh? Is that empty? What do you think? Quý vị thấy cái thắc mắc mà thầy có là nếu như quý vị là không rồi, cái mình là bản ngã mình là không, mình không có. We don't have any idea of an ego. We don't have an ego anymore. What about this? What about that? Và những cái phần còn lại nó có không là không. What do you think? Quý vị nghĩ sao? Is this empty? The sound, is it empty? Huh? See? If you break it, it goes back to emptiness. Không nghĩa là sao? Cái không của bản ngã có nghĩa là mọi vật. If I'm empty, that meaning that I have no ego, then this one has no ego, then nothing has a real self. Tất cả vạn vật nó đều cũng có sự thật. So far, so good. If you empty your ego, you no longer suffer. Một khi mà quý vị, cái bản ngã quý vị nó trở thành không, thì quý vị không còn đau khổ.聽得懂嗎？如果你的自我没有了，空了，那时你不会有什么痛苦。Why is that? Tại sao khi mà bản ngã của mình nó không, mình không còn khổ sở nữa? Why is that? Tại sao vậy? Does anyone know? Tại sao không còn khổ nữa? Why do you no longer suffer? Okay? Tại sao không khổ nữa? Anyone? Joseph, why is it after you empty yourself, Joseph will explain to us, with his wonderful wisdom, that after he emptied his ego, he no longer knows suffering. Why is that? You don't know? Too much pressure? I give you a chance, but my boy, you blew it. Yes? Anyone? Now I give a chance to the adults. Why is that when you empty yourself, there's no more suffering? Tại sao khi quý vị cái bản ngã nó biến không, quý vị không còn khổ nữa? Yes. You're not reacting. Very good. Không còn phản ứng nữa. Okay? Someone comes to you and say, this is what happened to Shariputra, by the way. Cái này người ta tới ta tát mình cái, mình có phản ứng gì hết. Okay? Đây chuyện nó xảy ra với Ngài Xá Lợi Phất. Shariputra was known back then. Ngài Xá Lợi Phất lúc trước là nổi tiếng là người không có giận. Yeah? Ngài Xá Lợi Phất lúc trước nổi tiếng, he was known to have no anger whatsoever. And so the disciples were discussing about it. Mấy người, what happened to Xin? Is she sleeping or what? Is she uploading the file? Okay. Well, and so the Buddhist disciple, the other disciple was discussing him. He said, "Wow, Shariputra, he really has no anger whatsoever. I never saw him become angry ever since I joined the order." Mấy các đệ tử xuất gia khác bàn chuyện với nhau mới nói rằng cái Ngài Xá Lợi Phất rất là đặc biệt. Ngài tôi gia nhập cái tăng đoàn bây giờ chưa bao giờ thấy ông nổi giận nữa. Never saw him angry before. Never ever. And so they were so impressed. Họ rất là tán thán. Okay. And so one externalist overheard them, một cái người ngoài đạo đó nghe cái chuyện này mới nổi cái lòng ganh tức lên, lòng ganh tị lên. And the externalist heard about that, said, I don't believe it. How is it possible he has never been angry? Thì làm sao có thể tin rằng là ông cái Xá Lợi Phất chưa bao giờ mà nổi giận hết? Sao không có chuyện này được? So I prove to you, he says, all of you, that I'm going to show you that he does still get angry. Ngày hôm nay tôi chứng minh cho quý vị biết là ông đó là vẫn còn cái lửa giận như thường. Nghe ông nhập chữ. Okay, and so he went and looked for Shariputra. Ông mới đi chạy đi kiếm Ngài Xá Lợi Phất. What was Shariputra doing? Đang làm gì? Xá Lợi Phất đang trên đường đi tới Xi Năng, khất thực. And Shariputra was on his way to do his alms bowl rounds. Okay? Đi xin cơm. And he's probably a little bit hungry. Khi biết khi mà đi xin cơm chắc có đầu bụng, hơi đói bụng rồi, you know. So this guy, this externalist came up to waited until Shariputra got to in front of someone's house, đợi Ngài Xá Lợi Phất tới trước một cái nhà người thí chủ đó, đang đứng đợi cơm đó. Okay, so the way it worked is that Shariputra would stand up there silently and not say anything. Okay. Thì cái lúc mà mấy ngài khất thực đời xưa đứng trước cả cửa nhà người ta như vậy, đứng yên, tuyệt yên, không có mở miệng, không có mở mắt, không có nói gì hết, không nhúc nhích nói gì hết. They waited for a while. That's it. And if no one comes out to give them rice or food, they just leave quietly. Okay. Mà nếu như không ai đi ra mà cúng dường cho họ đồ ăn ẩm thực thì họ im lặng, họ bỏ đi cái nhà. So they go to the next house. 7 houses. Thì là lẳng lặng đi qua nhà thứ nhì, 7 nhà liên tiếp như vậy. Okay. Mà nếu không ai cho, if after seven houses, no offering, they go back empty bowls. That's it. They go hungry that day. Mà 7 nhà thôi mà không ai cho cúng dường đồ ăn họ trở về lại mà nhì ăn bữa đó. This is one of the reasons why in America nowadays we cook for ourselves at our temple. Bởi vậy đây là một cái lý do chính mà tại sao chùa chúng ta tự nấu ăn đấy. Tại sao vậy? Tại vì nếu mà đi xin 7 nhà chắc về ngày nào cũng đói hết. Because if we go in the neighborhood here and bake for seven houses, we go back hungry every single day. Probably even be chased after by dogs as well. Mấy cái vùng này mà không phải là về đã không cho đồ ăn mà còn xua chó đuổi rượt mình nữa. Okay, so in Mahayana we change it a little bit to accommodate the conditions so that we can cultivate. Okay, thành cái đại thừa nó uyển chuyển lắm, mình phải đổi một tí để mà có thể tu được. So there he was, back to the story. Shariputra stood up there, his bowl. Ngài Sariputta đứng cầm cái bình bát, đứng rất là trang nghiêm, đứng đợi. So he stood there, very adorned, not the way I look. Okay, and then so externalists sneaked up to behind him. Cái ông ngoại đạo tới lén tới sau lưng, and hit in the back of his head. Okay, thì đánh một cái nơi đầu, đấm một cái sau cái óc của ngài Sariputta. At that very time, Shariputra walked to the next house because no one came out. Lúc đó ngài Sariputta bắt đầu đi bước qua cái nhà thứ nhì, tại không ai cúng dường hết. And didn't say anything. So he walked up to the next house and waited. Okay, so that externalist saw that he felt so ashamed. Cái người mà ngoại đạo đó thấy cái phản ứng ngài Sariputta hoàn toàn phản ứng. The externalist saw that Shariputra has no reaction whatsoever. He was so impressed. He immediately knelt down. Ông nó lập tức rất là sám hối, sinh cái lòng hối hận, quỳ xuống xin ngài Sariputta xin lỗi. And he repented to Shariputra. He said, I tried to test you. I tried to make you angry, but I can see now it's for real. You don't know anger at all. Thì mày thú thật là chính mình tới tính thử ngài Sariputta, chọc ngài giận, mà thiệt ra ngài không có giận thế nào hết. Okay, and he says, and Shariputra says, okay, it's not a problem. Okay, I forgive you. Ngài Sariputta nói rất là từ tốn, ngài nói không sao hết, tôi tha thứ cho ông, không có gì phải sám hối. There's no need to repent. And so the externalist got up and said, if you forgive me, then please go back to my house. I like to make offerings to you. Thì cái người ngoại đạo đó mới yêu cầu ngài Sariputta, nếu mà ngài đã tha thứ cho tôi thì yêu cầu ngài trở về nhà với tôi để tôi cúng dường đồ ăn cho ngài. And Shariputra agreed. So the externalist brought the bowl, held the bowl of Shariputra, and brought the bowl himself. And Shariputra followed him. And đời xưa theo cái truyền thống đó, là cái người ngoại đạo cầm cái bình bát của ngài Sariputta, ôm đi đem về nhà mình, thì ngài Sariputta thõng thư thả mà đi theo mà tới nhà vậy. So he went to the externalist house and he came and to receive the offering. Thì tới nhà đó cái người ngoại đạo mới cúng dường đồ ăn cho ngài Sariputta. It turns out that many of Shariputra's disciples, lúc đó rất nhiều người đệ tử của ngài Sariputta saw what the externalists did to their teachers. Thì thấy cái người ngoại đạo đó hỗn xược với sư phụ mình như vậy, they got very upset. You see, the teacher doesn't get upset, it's the disciples who get upset. Như vậy thế nó có cười không? Ông thầy thì không giận, mà đệ tử thì giận. So they followed the Shariputra, the externalist house, with the intention of giving a good beating to the other externalists to teach him a lesson. Okay. Tính tới hành hung cái ông, đánh một cái ông ngoại đạo một trận cho nó đã giận. And so when Shariputra came out of the house, okay, and the externalist was also holding his bowl and to escort him out, and the other man says, his Shariputra's disciple, so, Master, you know, take your bowl because we want to teach this man a lesson. Mấy người đệ tử nói là sư phụ cầm cái bình bát đi để cho tụi con dạy mấy cái ông ngoại đạo một bài học, đánh một trận cho nó biết đều. And Shariputra says, no, you can't. I forgive him already. Ngài Sariputta nói không được, ông phải quý vị có quyền đánh, tại tôi đã tha thứ ông rồi. You see? So this is a true proof right there that The Shariputra is really no anger. Cái đó mới thiệt sự đối với thầy mới chứng minh rằng là ngài Xá Lợi Phất hoàn toàn không có giận như thế đó. Because he would not even allow use his students to get back at the disciple. Chứng minh cho quý vị thấy là cái ngài Xá Lợi Phất hoàn toàn không có giận, tại vì không có dùng học trò mình để mà trả đũa. You see? So her point is very good. No reaction whatsoever. If you truly are empty, your ego is empty, then you don't react to external stimuli. Nếu quý vị thiệt sự mà cái bản ngã quý vị nó không rồi, thì quý vị không còn phản ứng nữa. Okay? If your husband yells at you, there's something wrong, you say, oh, no problem. Nhưng mình thiệt sự mình không còn cái bản ngã mà chồng mình làm bậy ấy, chồng mình mà làm sai á, mình hoàn toàn mình không giận gì hết á. You're not angry at all. Right? Is that clear? Okay. So then why is that when your ego is empty, you no longer have suffering? Thì trở lại câu hỏi. Okay. Là tại sao khi bản ngã mình nó không rồi, nó biến thành không rồi thì mình không còn khổ sở nữa? Why is that? It's almost close. The answer she gave me is very close, but not quite a direct answer to the question yet. Trả lời gần đúng. Anyone? Nếu gọi không hết thì đâu có ai nhận người nó cho. Okay. If you have no ego, okay. Nếu bản ngã cái vị nó không. Okay. When the leg hurts, when you're sitting right here in a sutra lecture, it's about 2 hours. Quý vị ngồi như vậy là ngồi 2 tiếng đồng hồ luôn, xếp bằng ngồi 2 tiếng đồng hồ luôn. Okay. Chân nó bắt đầu đau, your legs begins to hurt. Right? If you really have no ego, what happens? Nếu thực sự cái bản ngã nó không rồi thì chuyện gì xảy ra? Hả? No pain. No pain whatsoever. Nếu cái vị mà cái bản ngã cái vị không rồi thì còn ai mà đau nữa bây giờ? If your ego is really empty, who's experiencing pain? No one. Right? Mình nó không là đâu có ai biết đau nữa đâu. Agree? And therefore, because there's no one who is experiencing pain, who is suffering, therefore, all suffering comes to an end. Vì không còn ai mà thấy cái đau nữa thì tất cả nó đau, nó biến mất, nó trở thành không. All pain and suffering becomes empty as well. Nên là wonderful. Quý vị thấy nó tuyệt vời dễ sợ không? Think about it. No more school. No more summer school. Không cần phải đi học nữa. Because summer school is so much suffering. Đi học nó khổ dễ sợ. No more boy that's making noises when I lecture. Không có ai mà nó làm ồn khi mà thầy, con nít nó làm ồn khi mà thầy đang giảng kinh nữa. Hả? Right? And that's what it means. This is why in order to, as is called liberation, cái đó gọi là giải thoát. You free from all suffering. Cái đó là mình thoát được tất cả cái khổ sở. And that's what Buddhism is about. Cái Phật giáo nó như vậy đó, thưa quý vị. Mình tu để mình thoát tất cả cái khổ sở. We cultivate in order to put an end to all suffering. That's called liberation. Cái đó mới gọi là giải thoát. No? Questions or comments? Ai thắc mắc gì không? Okay, so that's emptiness. Cái đó trở về lại cái bài giảng. Cái đó là cái không. The emptiness of the ego, cái không của cái bản ngã. Meaning that you see everything as empty. Người mà cái bản ngã không thấy mọi sự nó đều là không hết. Is that clear? This is not clearly explained in the books, in the sutra. Cái này là cái mà không được giảng dễ rõ ràng trong kinh điển. You have to experience it, then you understand for yourself. Khi quý vị tới cái trình độ đó, quý vị sẽ hiểu nó như vậy. So far, so good? Ai thắc mắc gì không? Okay. So when you experience that, chẳng hạn khi mà quý vị tới cảnh giới, được cái cảnh giới mà cái bản ngã nó trở thành không. If you reach a state, you certify to the fact that your ego is empty. What happens? Does it mean you no longer have pain? Có nghĩa là cái chân quý vị nó không còn đau là không? Do you still experience pain in your legs or not? Vì còn đau là không? Yeah? How do you know? Cái cô này cô gật đầu, cô nói là vẫn còn đau. Ủa sao cô biết được? How do you know? Have you reached a state of the empty being, the ego being empty? Cô đợi tới cái cảnh giới mà cái bản ngã nó trở thành không chưa mà dám trả lời là nó vẫn còn đau. How do you know that? Does it still hurt? Yes or no? Doesn't hurt? Okay. Susan, does it still hurt? Huh? Còn đau là không? Yes? No, it doesn't hurt. Huh? If you still have an ego, it hurts. I'm talking about the people who have no ego. Do they still hurt or not? You don't know? That's a safe answer. You still believe it still hurts. Then the ego is not empty yet. Nếu cô này có trả lời là nếu nó vẫn còn đau thì có nghĩa là cái bản ngã nó vẫn còn không. You just let it go. Sao mấy à? Chứ tao. Cô nói là nếu như ngoài ra Phật Bồ Tát thôi chứ người thường sao mà biết được cái cảnh giới đó được. She says that besides the Buddha and the Bodhisattvas, how can we mortals understand that state? Yes. Okay, it's making it life difficult for me. Bởi vậy, Điền con biết không? Cho mấy thằng ba lô cố nó hỏi tầm bậy tầm bạ, nó hỏi gì mình cũng nhiều khi nó hỏi quá, mình cũng cứng họng, mình không biết trả lời sao được nữa. The question is, what about a state where you have no notion of time, no notion of space, no notion of anything, okay? No notion of pain, okay? Is that the state of the empty self, right? Cái đó có nghĩa là yes or no? Justin says yes. Huh? Yeah? 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 Yeah, okay, very good. Impressive. Yeah? Anyone? Everyone else? Yes or no? It doesn't matter. You have to listen to the lecture, otherwise. Yeah? Yes or no? The question is that if you enter a state called samadhi, enter samadhi, nhập định, and in that state you have no notion of space, there's no more space, everything empties out, there's no notion of time, không có cái quan niệm về cái không gian và thời gian nữa. Okay? Is that case the ego is empty, có nghĩa là cái ngã nó không chưa? Now he corrected himself, says it's no. Okay, why not? Tại sao vậy? Tại sao chưa? He says because I'm still aware of that fact that I have no notion of space and time. That's correct. Nếu còn biết là không có không gian, không còn thời gian, không biết không còn gì nữa hết, vẫn không thấy gì nữa hết đấy, cái đó vẫn còn là mình có người mà thấy không có gì hết. There's still one entity that's not seeing anything. Therefore it's not empty. Is that clear? Nghe có hiểu không? Nếu quý vị còn thấy tôi không thấy không gian, tất cả nó đều trống hết, tôi không còn cái cảm giác của thời gian, tôi không còn cảm giác thời gian, tôi không còn cảm giác không gian, có nghĩa là tôi vẫn còn. I have no notion of space. I have no notion of time. There's still an I right there. Therefore, the ego is not empty. The I has not emptied out yet. Is that clear? He answered himself. Thầy cũng tự trả lời đấy. Okay? Any other questions? So, what is the answer to the fact that when you empty yourself, do you still experience pain? Thành câu hỏi là khi mà quý vị mà đã bản ngã nó không rồi đó, quý vị còn thấy đau là không? Hả? Hiền Khả còn thấy đau là không? Còn buồn ngủ là không? You feel sleepy or not? Huh? You feel sleepy? You still feel sleepy? Do you still feel tired? Do you still feel pain? Còn thấy buồn ngủ, còn thấy đau, còn thấy mệt không? Yes? Yes, anyone? Còn là không? Yes? So you're not empty. So is it possible once you empty yourself that you can no longer experience pain, no sleep, no sleepiness? Thành nói cách khác, nếu quý vị một khi mà bản ngã nó không rồi á, và quý vị có còn bị mệt mỏi, có còn bị buồn ngủ không? Yes or no? Kim Đi. Now she's not taking notes anymore. Các bà không có điên là thế là bắt đầu ta cứng họng rồi. Hả? See, according to Kim Đi, of course you still feel sleepy, you still feel pain in your legs, but it doesn't bother you as much. So she said, for example, when Shariputra was being hit on his head by that externalist, of course it's pain, but it doesn't bother him. Right? That's what she means. You agree or disagree? Đồng ý là không đồng ý? You surrender, what happens? Đầu hàng. I surrender. You the boss. Mình đầu hàng, mình khuất phục. Là cái dog. Như con chó vậy. I surrender. Yes? What? Câu hỏi là họ có không, luôn không là sao? That's a smart question. It's a very good question. Câu hỏi rất là khôn ngoan. The first intelligent question I've heard for a long time. Câu hỏi khôn ngoan từ lâu năm rồi mới nghe được câu như vậy. Yes? Let me explain to you. This is not clearly understood in most people. Quý vị đọc sách không thể hiểu được cái trình tạng này. Okay. The book says that once you empty yourself, there's an end to all suffering. Sách vở nói, kinh điển nói là một khi mà ngã cái vị nó trở thành không, quý vị sẽ không còn khổ sở nữa. And then I go around and ask you, does that mean that once you empty yourself, do you still feel pain? Do you still feel sleepy? Okay? Hay là khi mà quý vị mà thầy mới hỏi ngược lại, thầy đặt cái câu hỏi ngược lại, câu hỏi nếu như quý vị mà đã không rồi, quý vị có còn đau là không? Quý vị có còn giận là không? Do you still feel angry? Okay? If you say yes, then there's still someone who's getting angry. There's someone who's feeling pain. Nếu quý vị trả lời có thì vẫn còn một cái người nào đó, một cái bản ngã nó đang khổ, nó đang đau. Am I correct? Therefore, the self has not been is not empty yet. Có nghĩa là cái bản ngã nó chưa không. Therefore, his question is very smart. Thành câu hỏi cái ông này rất là thông minh. He says, are you always like that, or you sometimes break out and and break precepts and the answer is that the sutra does not is correct. Cái trả lời là kinh điển rất là đúng. Tại vì what it means, this is why when you read sutras, unless you really understand that state, and you try and you're not in that state yet, you don't understand. You don't know how to explain it. Thành ra trừ khi mà nếu quý vị đọc kinh điển thôi mà ngồi mà tưởng tượng không, quý vị trả lời không được đâu. Quý vị phải vào cảnh giới đó rồi thì mới hiểu được nó ra sao. Okay? What it is that the empty self is a state of samadhi. Cái bản ngã không này là một cái cảnh giới của cái định. You enter the samadhi like Venerable Xiển Trừ said earlier, mình nhập cái định mà giống như ngài thầy Hiền Trì nói hồi nãy đó, vào một cái định, tự nhiên mình thấy không còn cái thời gian đi qua rất là mau. Okay, he enters samadhis and now there's no more notion of time, no feeling of time, no more feeling of pain, không còn thấy đau chân đau tay nữa. That's called samadhi, right? However, and then that samadhi, he still realize that he's no longer having pain. Nhưng mặc dù như vậy, trong cái định đó thầy Hiền Trì vẫn còn thấy một cái người nó không có bị đau, cái người không thấy cái thời gian nó trôi qua. Okay? He's still aware of that. Whereas in the other samadhi of the end of the self being empty, it's no one at all. It's nothing whatsoever. Ngược lại, cái định một cái người mà nhập vào cái cảnh giới mà cái ngã nó không á, hoàn toàn không có gì hết á. There's nothing whatsoever. Is that clear? Hiểu không? It's not even not a notion of time. Không còn biết là cái không gian. It's not even a notion of emptiness. Không còn cái cảm giác là không nữa luôn nữa. Right? Therefore, how can there be any pain? Nếu như vậy làm sao có cái đau được? How can there be any anger? Làm sao có gì mà cái giận được? Right? So when you're there, it still hit you like this. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't bother you. Thành mặc dù cái thân nó còn đó, ok, người ta đánh mình á, mình không biết đau. It's no pain whatsoever. Is that clear? Because there's no one feeling any pain. The body's still there, you hit it, but you don't experience no pain. Cái đau của quý vị đó là tại vì nó còn bản ngã nó mới thấy đau. Nếu như đánh như vậy đó mà không còn bản ngã, không biết đau. When you hit someone like this, you experience pain because an ego that experiences pain. If you hit someone like this, when this person has no ego, there's no pain whatsoever. Is that clear? No more suffering. That's what it means. Ta đánh người ta mà ta không đau, không còn bản ngã thì ai mà đau bây giờ? Okay? So that only is the case when you are in samadhi. Nó chỉ như vậy khi quý vị đang ở trong cái định. Hiểu không Kim Điền? Nghe rõ không? Is it clear? So that's why, yes. If you want to avoid pain and suffering. Thành câu hỏi là nếu như vậy mình có nên luôn luôn ở trong định không? Thầy nói nếu quý vị mục tiêu quý vị là để tránh cái đau khổ thì quý vị nên ở trong định. Is that clear? If you want to avoid pain and suffering, you should be in samadhi. Quý vị muốn tránh khổ, tránh đau thì phải ở trong định. Is it clear? Yes. Có tiến bộ được không hả? The question she asks is, if you are in samadhi like that, can they still continue to make progress? How would I know? I've never been there before. Sao thầy biết được? Thầy bây giờ tới đâu mà nói, tưởng tượng đâu có được. I cannot give you conjectures. I don't know. Thầy không biết được. It feels good to be honest for a change. Mình nói thật là cái người nó thấy người nó nhẹ nhõm vậy sao? Vẫn tiến bộ được. Nói ý của thầy nói là có thể tiến bộ được, vẫn có tiếp tục tiến bộ được. So according to Venerable Xianchu, based on his research, he feels that it's the scripture says it's still possible to make progress. I hope so. Thầy cũng hy vọng như vậy. Khi mình thầy tới cảnh giới đó, thầy sẽ hy vọng tiếp tục có thể, tại mình muốn tránh cái khổ sở đi. I only hope that when I get there, I can be like that and avoid all suffering whatsoever. Bởi vì trong kinh hôm qua nó nói là mấy vị A-la-hán mới tới giúp cái đó rồi Phật nói đó chưa quá thành thôi, mấy ông đi nữa sẽ dẹp sạch hết những cái vi tế trong thành Phật nó tới, chứ chưa có tới đâu. Yes.
If it was impossible to make progress, then no harm would ever be going to stop. It's impossible to make progress? If it was impossible to make progress, when that state, then no arhat would ever become a bodhisattva. They would all be stuck.
Nếu tất cả vị A La Hán mà không thể tiến bộ nữa thì tất cả vị A La Hán sẽ không bao giờ trở thành Bồ Tát. What do you think? Huh? Chinese people. Huh? 中国人有什么想法？Hả? Chẳng bút chu là nói mà nói không ra lời. They can utter the words. It's right on the tip of the tongue. Rồi tiến bộ được hay không tiến bộ? Tiến bộ làm cái gì? If you have no longer have suffering, why do you need to make progress? Nếu mình không còn khổ sở thì tiến bộ để làm cái gì nữa?
Because you're not a Buddha.
So what? I have no more suffering. Ông nói mình tu tiếp để mình thành Phật. Thành không? Mình thành Phật làm gì mà đâu khổ nữa? Thành Phật làm cái gì? Hả? Why would you want to become a Buddha? They have no more suffering. Hả? Yes, Kim Điền. Yes. Nói đi con, đừng mắc cỡ. Không sao đâu. She says that you continue to cultivate in order to, to find a way to help others. Oh, how ka'ai. How cute. Huh? Yeah, it's so wonderful. Isn't it cute? So what do you think? Quý vị nghĩ sao? Hả? Thầy nói cho quý vị nghe. Let me tell you something. This is I'm going out and lên cái này thầy tưởng tượng nữa nha. I mean, don't take it literally. Thầy nói chơi vậy thôi. Okay. Even when your ego is empty, mặc dầu sau khi bản ngã quý vị nó đã không rồi. Okay. The two things still happen. Vẫn còn hai cái chuyện nó xảy ra. Okay. What are those two? Can you imagine? Quý biết chuyện xảy ra khi vị bản ngã nó còn không, chuyện xảy ra không? What happens? Even though Kim Điền ego is empty, ví dụ như cô Kim Điền đó, cái cô không còn bản ngã nữa, right? Can we use you? Mình dùng cô được không? Please. Okay. Okay. Suppose Kim Điền has no more ego. Chẳng bây giờ cô Kim Điền không còn cái bản ngã nữa. Okay. So far so good. Right? There's still one more thing. Có chuyện vẫn còn một chuyện. There's still one more thing that's remaining. Còn một chuyện nó vẫn còn như thường. What is it? What is it? Bản ngã is 自我. Mấy有自我了. Giờ cô Kim Điền, cô đã bản ngã là không rồi. Okay? Now her ego is empty. And she can enter that state. Okay? Cô nhập cái định nó rất là dễ dàng. She enter that samadhi where there's no more ego. Okay? Nothing whatsoever. Không còn cái gì hết á. Okay? Where is she gonna enter it? Ngồi đâu mà nhập định bây giờ? Lưu máu nữa. Chùa Lư Sơn Tự hả? Ở đâu? Get my drift? Hiểu ý của thầy không? Muốn nhập định phải có cái duyên mới nhập định được, chứ phải muốn nhập định là nhập định được đâu. You want to enter samadhi, you need the conditions to enter samadhi. You just can't simply enter samadhi just like that. Huh? Because she still has a body. Cái cô Quyên Điềm vẫn còn cái thân này. Right? And that body there comes with a lot of baggage. Cái thân này nó có nhiều cái nợ lắm. She owes debt to her parents. Nợ cha, nợ mẹ mình. Am I correct? Don't you think so? Huh? Translate. You still owe your parents. Don't you? They're the one who gave birth to you. Họ sinh quý vị ra. Right? You still owe your brother who gave you a room in the house. Quý vị nợ ông anh của quý vị, tại ông anh cho quý vị cái phòng ở trong nhà. Right? You still owe the person who cooks food for you. Mình nợ cái người nấu ăn cho mình ăn. Right? And because of those debts, you are not always free to enter samadhi just as you wish. Vì những cái nợ đó, quý vị không thể nào từ ý mà muốn nhập định lúc nào là mình tùy hỷ. You understand the concept? You agree with that? You can't always enter samadhi. Không phải ai lúc nào cũng nhập định được hết. It's not possible. As long you have the body, khi quý vị còn cái thân này đó, quý vị vẫn còn lệ thuộc người ta như thường. You still have dependencies. And because of those dependencies, you not always are able to do as you please. Ask married people, they will tell you. Tại còn cái thân này đó, mình còn cái lệ thuộc, mình không thể nào tự ý mà làm việc được. Quý vị chỉ cần hỏi những cái người mà có gia đình, có hỏi quý vị trả lời chứ quý vị thấy ngay rồi. Có đứa con sao mà tùy ý mà làm chuyện được. If you have children, how are you going to do as you please? Huh? Right? You can't. You understand? If Shariputra can be in samadhi when he goes in arms bowl rounds, Ngài Xá Lợi Phất có thể nhập định khi mà đứng trước nhà người ta để mà xin cơm. That's possible. Because he's not dependent on these people. Ông không cần mấy cái người cúng dường cho ông á. Right? He's used to it. After 7 houses, nothing, he goes back. Big deal. Okay? Nếu 7 nhà liên tiếp mà không ai cúng dường, ông trở về lại, đâu có gì đâu. To him, whether he does not even experience hunger, ông không biết đói là cái gì nữa. So what does it matter? Agree? So it's easy for him to enter samadhi there because he has no dependency. Tại lúc mà đứng trước nhà người ta như vậy, Ngài Xá Lợi Phất có thể nhập định được tại vì Ngài không có cái lệ thuộc gì hết á, đúng không? Whether you give it to me or not, I don't care. I'm doing you a favor. Ông Xá Lợi Phất đang làm gieo cái duyên để người ta tạo công đức, chứ không phải ông cần cái đồ ăn đó. He's giving these people a chance to plant blessings. He doesn't really need it. Is it clear? Quý vị nghe hiểu không? Okay? So therefore he can enter samadhi. Vì vậy Ngài có thể nhập định at will. Okay? And that externalists happen to hit him at a time where he's in samadhi. Cái ông ngoài đạo đó, ông xui là ông đánh Ngài Lợi Phất khi mà Ngài Lợi Phất đang nhập định. Therefore, Shariputra, what? Ngài Xá Lợi Phất tỉnh bơ. Okay? But if he comes back, là khi Ngài Xá Lợi Phất trở về lại mà gặp đệ tử đó, nó nheo ủa trời ơi, sao mà thầy không có đem nhiều ăn gì cho con cũng xin được đồ ăn. Or if he goes back to the monastery and his disciple says, Master, I You have no food, I have no food for a week either. I'm so hungry. You think Shariputra can enter samadhi now? Đệ tử nó đó nheo, đó meo, đó mốc. Nói trời ơi thầy, con cả tuần con cũng được đồ ăn. Thầy cũng được đồ ăn. Mà sao bây giờ mình nhập định bây giờ? Huh? You see I'm getting it? You have dependencies. Mình còn lệ thuộc, sao mình nhập định được? Okay? There's more, but I just give you one example. That's why it's not possible to always enter samadhi. Thầy chỉ cho một ví dụ thôi, nó còn có nhiều lắm. Mà đã chứng minh cho quý vị thấy rằng mình không thể luôn luôn nhập định được. Còn cái thân này không thể luôn luôn nhập định được. Once you have this body, it's not always possible to be in samadhi. Not always possible. Is that clear? Now Josh is going to tell her friends, you know, I know about these egoless people. And, you know, the secret of the universe that now Jocelyn knows about. Cái cô bé này ngày hôm nay học một cái bài học bí mật về cái vũ trụ này. Những cái người mà không có vô ngã, người ta ra sao? Yes? Questions? Yes? So what's the use? Để có định để làm gì, phải không? Right? Thì liễu khổ là mình dứt cái khổ. Bây giờ thầy nói con ví dụ như vậy. Bây giờ con nhập được bản ngã rồi, nó không rồi. Ha. Chồng con tới nói, ê bà chồng. Okay. So she asked me a question. I'm trying to help her understand this concept. She says, I said, let me give you an example. I say, you have no more ego. And then your husband comes to you and say, hey, bà chồng tiếng Anh là gì ha? Hả? Con quỷ. Con quỷ nó còn tệ hơn bà chằn nữa con. Nữa nó bậy xui dại nó cãi lộn nhau bây giờ. Bà chằn này là scary woman. What's a scary woman in English? Is there another term for it? I mean, like the wife is so scary that, huh? A witch? Okay, yeah, close enough. Yeah, it's the same concept, but in Vietnamese, the tongue for us Vietnamese is much more intimate. Không phải là quỷ hoặc là phù thủy, mà cái này là bà chằn. It's different. Vietnamese has a word for witch, which is phù thủy, which has slightly different meaning from bà chằn. Okay? Anyway, so the husband comes around and says, hey, scary woman, hey, witch. Okay? What happens? You sit down. What's the first thing that happens? What? Huh? Right? Giận, right? You say, how dare you? Từ phản ứng đầu tiên là mình xong cả gan vậy. Right? You feel anger, heat rising. Bắt đầu thêm người nó nóng lên. Right? You know what I'm talking about. Anyone know have this experience before? Ai chưa thầy coi đã có kinh nghiệm này nè. See? Now because it gets hot now and the heat is rising from here up to the head. You know that? Cái bắt đầu hơi nóng, lửa nóng bắt đầu nó bốc từ cái lỗ rú nó chạy lên đầu. You wait longer, the head becomes very hot. You know that? I know. It happens to me every single day. Okay? And so you realize you're getting angry. Mình biết mình đang nổi nóng. What happens? What do you do? Con làm gì Hakim? I asked her, what do you do? He says, make a fight. Make him pay for it. Trả đũa, right? Quay lại nữa. Ông bà xì lỗ cố. Muốn gì bác sĩ đâu có. Huh? What do you want? Huh? Claude? If you have an empty self, nếu cái gì mà không, nếu con thực sự ngã nó không, you have the option of emptying yourself immediately. Lúc đó cái người mà bạn ngã không, ta tự động ta nhập cái định ngay lập tức. They are able to enter samadhi. Okay? Therefore, they don't get angry at all. Không nổi giận. They squash the anger immediately. Okay? Là dập tắt cái lửa giận ngay lập tức. Mình đang buồn ngủ, mình đang hắt ngáp thế này, and you empty yourself, it's gone. Mình đang buồn ngủ, sắp đang ngáp, mới bắt đầu mở miệng, chưa ngáp kịp một cái, mình nhập cái định một cái là mình hết buồn ngủ. Okay? If Venerable Shariputra here says, I started coughing as I started meditate, đang ngồi thiền bắt đầu ho, mình nhập cái định không một cái nào, không cần tụng chú nó cũng không còn ho luôn nữa. See? You enter the samadhi, you no longer feel like coughing. That's the advantage of emptying yourself. Cái đó là cái lợi điểm của những cái người mà có bạn ngã hoặc không. You're totally in control. Cái gì hoàn toàn có tự chủ. Okay? You don't have to do this. Thương như không? You don't have to look ugly. Cái mặt nó không xấu được. Isn't that an advantage? Thấy cái đó lợi là không? You're always attractive. Khi nào mình cũng you so vain. Chọc cái này. mấy em nhỏ nó see I'm trying to catch someone who would react first to me. That Chinese woman right there. So vain. Yes? You understand? You are in total control. Mình hoàn toàn có tự chủ. Why am I telling you this? Tại sao thầy nói chuyện này? Because once you empty yourself, you have choices. Lúc đó khi cái ngã cắn vào bạn ngã cái vị nó không, cái vị có sự lựa chọn. You can choose to not suffer or suffer. Cái vị có quyền chọn là mình khổ hay là mình tránh cái khổ. Is it clear? Nghe hiểu không? It's totally under your control. Before that, you have no control whatsoever. Trước đó cái vị hoàn toàn không có cái tự chủ đó được. It's that easy. You hungry? Who's hungry? You thirsty? Who's thirsty? You sleepy? Who's sleepy? You angry? Who's angry? Mình đang giận. Có ai đâu mà giận. There's no one who's getting angry. See? You can choose to put an end to all your suffering right there. Quý vị có thể chọn cắt đứt cái khổ của mình ngay lập tức ngay lúc đó. Isn't it nice? Thấy có lợi không? Yes or no? Is it worth it? Có đáng là không đáng? Chữ tớ mà. Explain to the Chinese woman. Is it worth it? Huh? 你说? Well, is it worth it? But, nhưng we're talking about the emptiness in Hinayana. Mình đang nói về cái không của bên nguyên thủy, cái không của bản ngã. Talking about the emptiness of the self. Okay? That means when you experience that, you put an end to all suffering as you wish. Thành lúc quý vị được cái bản ngã không đó, quý vị có cái tự chủ, quý vị có thể liễu cái khổ tùy hỷ. So far so good. That's why it's so wonderful. This is why the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas encourage us to practice towards that direction. Thành những cái người mà muốn liễu cái khổ đó thì chỉ cần đi về cái hướng đó sẽ liễu cái khổ. Okay? That's the only way possible, by the way. Cách duy nhất là that's why Buddhism we have no competition. Thành bên Phật giáo mình không ai hiện ngoài Phật giáo hiểu cái phương pháp đó hết đó. Outside of Buddhism is no other ways to get there. Okay, so far so good. So I'm saying that because of those of you who study Buddhism, who are Buddhists, should feel that you are very privileged because you're learning the secrets of how to put an end to all suffering eventually. This is what Buddhism is about. Thành ra, thầy nói những cái người mà theo học cái Phật pháp, là những người Phật tử đó, là những người rất là ưu tú, tại vì họ đang học trên con đường đi để tới liễu cái khổ đó. Cái Phật giáo mình chỉ chừng đó thôi. Phật giáo nó không ngoài cái mục tiêu là liễu cái khổ đó. Because Buddhism is not beyond, is nothing beyond putting an end to all your suffering. That's it. Whatever you feel is suffering, is bothering you, Buddhism will put an end to it. And no other ways is able, the way that no one else is able to do. Cái Phật giáo nó đặc biệt ở chỗ đó là cái phương pháp duy nhất mà có thể liễu cái khổ quý vị, mà ngoài ra không ai làm được. So far so good. That's the concept of emptiness. The empty all pain and suffering. Mình biến thành không ngoài cái khổ, ngoài cái thống khổ. So far so good. This is why I study Buddhism. Bây giờ thầy học Phật giáo vì vậy đó. So far so good. Okay. Why bother getting from emptiness to true emptiness? Tại sao đi từ không tới chân không làm cái gì? What for? Để làm cái gì? It's no more suffering. Không còn khổ nữa. Why bother? Tiếp tục làm gì? Chinese woman. Yes? Why bother? Anyone? Why bother? Yes?
So, emptiness only deals with yourself. True emptiness comes when you're locked down in that. You strive to save others.
Okay. You no longer suffer. Bây giờ mình không khổ nữa. So far so good. Huh? What about your son? Con mình sao? What about your son? Con mình sao? What about your granddaughter? That cute granddaughter, hoặc cái đứa cháu của mình? Huh? What about her? You understand? If you only empty yourself, quý vị chỉ làm không cho mình thôi đó. Okay? It has two problems. Cái bản ngã không đó, nó có hai vấn đề. First of all, you are useless to the people you love. You cannot do anything for them. Quý vị thực sự không giúp người ta nhé. If let's say I empty myself, như cái bà này bà đã ngã không rồi, but she can't help her granddaughter, như này bà không giúp được cháu của bà. Nothing she can do. Nothing. Why is that? Because she tell her granddaughter, come on Jocelyn, meditate. She says, no. Bà nói con thiền này con, nó không thiền làm cái gì. Become vegetarian. What for? Ăn chay làm cái gì? Right? Become a left-home person. What for? Cạo đầu đi con. Cạo đầu làm cái gì? You see? She would not listen. There's nothing you can do. That's number one. That's the first problem. You don't know. You can't help others. What's the second problem? Second problem is that you are not experiencing the true bliss. Cái vấn đề thứ nhì là quý vị vẫn chưa thấy được cái hoan lạc của cái chân của chân ngã, của chân không. The bliss from the true emptiness compared the bliss from emptiness is no comparison. Because emptiness still has a lot of ignorance. Cái ngã không nó vẫn còn nhiều cái vô minh vậy, nó còn rất nhiều cái vô minh. You are still so ignorant that you are nowhere near the state of happiness or bliss of the true emptiness. Cái hoan lạc của cái không đó, nó còn xa cách cái hoan lạc của cái chân không, nó xa không thể tưởng được. No comparison. Như thấy kiến tánh nó thấy được cái hoan lạc của cái người ngã không đó là giống như cục đất vậy. Nó so sánh vậy, giống như củ khoai vậy. Nó đần độn dễ sợ. Nó giống như là một cái vật, nó không còn vô tri, nó không còn biết sướng, nó không còn biết khổ, không còn biết gì hết. Okay. Nó trở thành con vật vô tri. Nếu quý vị mà tránh cái khổ, tránh cái sướng thì nó không còn cái gì hết nữa. Còn cái chân không này nó có đầy đủ hết tất cả. Tuyệt vời hơn nhiều. Okay? Got it? There you go. Okay. Any other questions? Em thắc mắc gì khác không? Let me explain to you, and I might offend some of these Hinayana people and Chinese people in particular. The bliss you experience in emptiness is like, compared to the bliss you experience in true emptiness, is like a true emptiness. First, people look at the emptiness people, the Hinayana people, like they're terracotta figurines. They're just there. They don't know pain. They don't know suffering. They don't know pleasure either. Okay? They're like inanimate objects, very limited range. Whereas in true emptiness, you experience everything, the complete spectrum. Emptiness is only a small part of the entire spectrum. Cái ngã không nó chỉ là một cái tí xíu của trong cái chân không thôi. Nó rộng như vậy đó. It's only a small thing in true emptiness. Tiny things. Thành cái đó mới gọi cái đó. That's why in Mahayana we call this ignorance. Chúng ta gọi cái ngã không này là vô minh. Nó không biết gì hết đó. Cái thế giới nó rộng như vậy, chỉ biết chừng này thôi à. You see, the universe is this big, it's humongous, and they only experience this one piece. That's it. That's why they still considered ignorant. Thành ra cái người mà ngã không đó, đối với Đại Thừa vẫn gọi là vô minh, gọi là dốt, dân dốt. It's stupid. Which is a less polite way of putting it. Hiểu không? Is that clear? This is when the sutra, the sutra describes it as, you know, we have the emptiness is like a bubble in a great ocean. Thành kinh điển mới giảng á, mấy kinh Hoa Nghiêm mới nói là cái không đó nó giống như là một cái bọt nước ở trong cái đại dương vậy đó. Nó dễ sợ như. If you want to compare them, the emptiness as compared to true emptiness is like a bubble in the big ocean. Tuyệt vời không? That's in the Flower Adornment Sutra, kinh Hoa Nghiêm đó. Cho thấy, cho cái vị thấy. Okay? Ai cũng ngáp lên ngáp xuống. Everyone is yawning like crazy. Clearly you haven't emptied yourself yet. Rõ ràng cái vị ngã nó còn lớn. Yes sir. Okay, so in order to empty yourself, trở về lại cái câu kinh tấm 117. Muốn biến cái ngã thành không, in order to empty yourself, all the five skandha has to be empty. Muốn trở thành không á, là 5 cái ngũ uẩn đó, nó đều phải không hết. Okay? Meaning you no longer attached to your body. Có nghĩa là quý vị không còn chấp vào cái thân mình nữa. Okay? If it feels bad, you're not attached to your feeling anymore. Vì không còn chấp vào cái cảm thọ của mình nữa. Cái cảm giác nó sướng là khổ, vì không còn chấp nữa. Whether it feels good or bad, you're not attached to it. Nó sướng hay là nó khổ cũng chừng đó thôi à. Okay? So far so good? Okay? What about cognition? What about thinking? Cái tưởng thì sao? What does it mean you empty the thinking? Khi mà quý vị cái tưởng quý vị nó không có nghĩa là sao? What does it mean? Yes. Không phân tích nữa. That's correct. In particular, nhất là in particular, What? Illusion. No illusion. In particular, Chinese people. See, I make fun of Chinese people because I learned from a Chinese, so I pick on the Chinese. In particular, when your thinking skandha is empty, what happens? Khi mà cái tưởng cưỡng ấm của quý vị nó không rồi, chuyện gì xảy ra? You no longer discriminate. Quý vị không còn so sánh, so đo nữa. Tính toán thiệt là hại, thiệt lợi. You don't longer calculate whether it's beneficial or unbeneficial. Because beneficial and unbeneficial is but an illusion. Tại vì cái lợi cái hại chỉ là một cái ảo tưởng thôi. Lợi cũng nó vậy, nó hại cũng chừng đó thôi. Dễ sợ không? Có cũng vậy thôi, không có cũng chừng đó thôi à. Nhớ không? Nó là có cái này, không có cái này, nó cũng chừng đó thôi, cũng đều là không hết. Đâu có cái gì đâu mà cần tính toán làm cái gì. If whether you have it or not doesn't matter to you, why you need to discriminate whether you have it or not? Whether it's advantageous to you or not. Right? Nếu có cũng được, không có cũng được, thì cái việc cần tính toán có là không để làm cái gì, lợi hại để làm cái gì. Yes? Does that mean we cease to function as individuals in society? Có nghĩa là mình ngừng lại cái sự sống trong xã hội là sao? Is that so? What? Sao không? Sao mà khóc lóc dễ sợ vậy nhỉ? Người giảng kinh mà nghe con này nghe giảng kinh mà khóc sụt cái gì? Ông vừa nghe giảng kinh mà vừa khóc lóc. Đó. Sao? Do we cease to exist? Có nghĩa là mình trở thành không có tham gia vào xã hội nữa hả? We no longer participate in life, in society. Is that it? Then what does it mean? Vậy nghĩa là sao? Cái người mà nguyên thủy á, người ta nói là tôi không còn tham gia nữa. The Hinayana people, they said, I no longer want to participate because it doesn't matter in the end to me. Okay? Cái người nguyên thủy người ta nói là tôi không còn tính toán nữa. Tại vì á, tính toán nó cũng chả có nghĩa gì đối với tôi hết. Thì lợi là hại đối với tôi chả có nghĩa gì hết. Whether I gain or lose is irrelevant to me. That's what Hinayana people think. Okay? Mahayana is what? Người đại thừa thì sao? Hả? Linh? Đại thừa thì sao? Nó khác nguyên thủy chỗ nào? Đại thừa nói là đúng rồi, ngày nay tôi làm 100.000 á, một năm tôi làm, một tháng tôi làm 100.000 á, hay là lỗ 10.000 đó, cũng vậy thôi, đối với tôi chả có nghĩa gì hết á. Đúng không? Người nguyên thủy nói tiền chả có nghĩa hết. Hinayana people say money doesn't matter. So far so good. Now, see, now everyone's awake when I yell at you. Mặt nó sáng là nghe, nó tỉnh là nghe. What about Mahayana people? Đại thừa thì sao? We like money, Vicky says. Why? Why do we like money? It's so true. It is true. Cái đó rất là đúng. Mình thích tiền. Tại sao mình thích tiền? Jocelyn, why do we like money? bà ngoại nó là khiếp mình luôn. Her grandmom is yeah? Why? What? Financial security, did you say? Yes, what did she say? It's worth something. That's correct. It's worth financial security. Sự an toàn của mình. Okay? But much more important reason, because you're too young to understand, young lady. Cô này còn trẻ chưa hiểu cái chuyện này. Linh will tell you why money is important. Ông Linh ông sẽ nói cho quý vị nghe tại sao tiền nó quan trọng. Yes. Why? Because money is important to him, because cái tiền đối với ông rất quan trọng. Tại vì because it's important to her. It makes sense? You understand? You understand now? Thấy cái đại thừa nó khác tiểu thừa chưa? It's called love. Tại mình thương vợ. Vì mình thương vợ thì mình qua tiền nó trọng. Chứ không phải đó làm cho mình. Cái khác biệt ở đó đó. Cái người nguyên thủy chỉ lo cho mình thôi đó. Mình nữa. Kim Điển, tiền không tiền, tôi cũng vậy. Trước giờ tôi cũng vậy. Nhưng nhờ cái người đại thừa, you see, the Hinayana people, they say, whether I have a lot of money or with not much money, is the same to me. I've been doing fine, right? But Mahayana people, we're not like that. Người đại thừa người như vậy. For us, we go out and earn money. Chúng tôi ra làm việc, làm tiền nhiều. What for? In order to make our wives happy. Mình làm tiền được nhiều để mình về, mình đem mình cúng cho vợ mình. Tex is so disgusted. Very wise man. Yeah. Như một khi con biết mình nói cho nó rộng ra một tí, một khi mình mở tiền nó quan trọng với vợ mình, thì quan trọng với vợ bé mình, xong vợ bé thứ ba. Mấy nhỏ cười khoái dễ sợ. So I said, I give you the complete picture. Once we say the money is important to our wives, then it's so important to our second wives, third wife, fourth wife. That's how we continue to make more money. Bởi vì càng ngày phải càng giàu thêm. You got it? We live it for the sake of others. Chúng ta sống để giúp người khác. Đem cái hạnh phúc tới những người khác. We bring happiness to others. Right, Linh? Đúng không, Linh? Nó ngồi đâu mà dám nói tầm bậy. Nó vợ bé, nó cắt cổ. You understand now? Okay, that's the difference in Mahayana and Hinayana. Cái người nguyên thủy, người ta bỏ, ta trốn tránh cái cuộc đời. Còn người đại thừa mình ôm hết, bao nhiêu vợ mình ôm hết. See, Hinayana people, they are shy of the world. They say, let me go to the mountain, let me go to the valley. I don't want to suffer anymore. You guys are too much trouble, right? Mahayana people said, the more wives, the better. Okay, got it? You see, that's the difference in Mahayana and Hinayana. Cái khác biệt giữa đại thừa nguyên thủy chừng đó thôi. It's more fun, Mahayana. You ask me. Thành ra đối với thầy cái đại thừa nó đầy đủ hơn nhiều. Yes, sir? So far so good. So when let me put this way for you. Thầy nói cái việc nghe. It's not suffering all. Đối với người đại thừa không phải là khổ đâu. If wife number one complains too much, you go to wife number two. Vợ thứ nhất mà nó làm khó làm dễ, mình coi tới vợ thứ nhì. Okay? And if it doesn't work, go to number three. Tới người thứ ba, người thứ tư, and so on, right? You're not translating anymore. You Chinese people. Mấy cái tàu không có dịch nữa luôn nữa. This is disgusting. You're discriminating. I don't discriminate. Okay? And if all four of them are bad news, nếu như 4 cái bài mà đều là cứng đầu hết á, what do you do? You empty yourself. Mình đừng con bãi trệ, mình trốn hết bóng bạc cùng một lúc luôn. We avoid all four. See, you're always happy. It's happy here we go, happy here we go, happy here we go, happy here we go. All unhappy, we're happy by ourselves. That's Mahayana, my friends. Thấy đại thừa vui không? Isn't that cool? Yes or no? No? She doesn't get it? You understand? Any questions? Ai thắc mắc gì không? So, for example, if kids play and make a lot of noise when I lecture, những đứa con nít mà nó phá phách, nó ồn ào khi thầy giảng kinh đó. Okay? I enjoy it too because I see how they're going to fall to the hells. I'm just kidding. No, they're going to fall to the hells. Not yet. Maybe next lifetime. Any questions? And that's why the Mahayana people, we go for true emptiness. Because in true emptiness, we experience everything. Cái chân không đó, nó có hết tất cả cái khổ với sướng với cái không khổ luôn nữa, có đầy đủ hết đó. Life is so much fuller.
cái cuộc sống nó đầy đủ hết đó. Okay? If there's pain, there's suffering. There's no pain, no suffering. It's everything all together. That's why it's called wonderful existence. Vì nó có hết tất cả mới gọi là diệu hữu. Không có gì mà thiếu hết. Is that clear? And that's what they say. True emptiness and wonderful existence are the same thing. Thành cái chân không với đầu diệu hữu nó cũng là một thôi. Giống cái bàn tay nó đổi mặt thôi. Just like the hand has two faces, upside down and the other side. Okay? That's why true emptiness and wonderful existence are together. They're one and the same thing. Bởi vì chân không với diệu hữu chỉ là một thôi. True emptiness is absolutely nothing. Trong cái chân không đó, nó không có cái gì hết, hoàn toàn không có gì hết đó. Okay? And at the same time, from there arises everything else. Và trong cái chân không mặc dù nó không có gì hết đâu, mà từ đó nó khởi xuất hết tất cả cái vàng vật. Everything originated from true emptiness. Mọi sự nó xuất gốc từ cái chân không. And now we are in the midst of wonderful existence. Hiện bây giờ chúng ta đó ở trong cái diệu hữu. Okay? We have the chance to experience pain, suffering, marital bliss, marital misery, everything. Thành ra trong cái diệu hữu đó, quý vị hưởng thụ hết tất cả cái khổ và cái sướng. Okay? And if you cultivate, nếu như quý vị mà tu đó, you will go back to wonderful, to true emptiness. Tu sẽ trở về lại cái chân không. Yes? So, going back to slide 117, trở về tấm 117. To say that form does not differ from emptiness. Second bullet. Nếu mà nói, trong kinh khi mà nói là sắc sơ vũ y không, right? Sắc bất y bất sắc bất gì không. Okay? Form does not emptiness. Okay? That is to help you people. Okay? That you should not be attached. Để cái câu đó là sắc bất gì không là nói cho quý vị biết là đừng có nên chấp trước quá về cái sắc. Do not be too attached to form. Questions? You should look at your attachments to things. Quý vị phải tập nhìn tới cái chấp trước về những cái đồ vật bên ngoài của mình. Who's attached to the cars? Có ai chấp trước về cái xe? See, only 3 or 4 people. That's very good. Excellent. Who's attached to money? Ai chấp trước về tiền? The same people. Very good. Okay? So if you attach to the form, mà nếu như quý vị chấp vào cái sắc á, mấy đồ vật á, thì you should practice emptiness contemplation. Là quý vị nên quán cái không để bớt cái chấp trước. Therefore you will reduce your attachment to things. And when you say emptiness does not differ from form, mà khi mà nói trong kinh nói là không bất dị sắc, that it is to help break the two vehicles attachment to dharmas, là để giúp bên nguyên thủy đó bỏ cái chấp trước về cái pháp. What does it mean attachment to dharmas? Chấp trước về pháp là cái gì? I kept on hearing about this when I was at the DRBA. and no one could explain it to me. Ngày thứ nghe bên Vạn Bậc Thành họ nói về cái pháp chấp là cái gì mà không ai giảng cho thầy biết pháp chấp là cái gì hết đó. Yes, sir.
You mean testing the condition, Dharma? You mean everything?
No, chấp trước về cái pháp hữu vi, không phải. Anyone else? What is it? What is it? Anyone? Pháp chấp là cái gì? Pháp执là什么? Cái này quan trọng. This is very important. The Hinayana people don't talk about it. Only Mahayana talk about Dharma. Attachment to Dharma. Cái vị đọc kinh điển Nguyên Thủy, người ta không giảng cái gì về cái pháp chấp đâu. Cái kinh điển Đại Thừa mới nói về cái pháp chấp. Nguyên Thủy không có nói. Hinayana, they have such a teaching. Mahayana, we say, it's something called Dharma attachment. What is it? Yes? Close. Chấp về những cái lời dạy bằng mình cách mình sai. Yes? It's like the hoa thổ. No, không phải. Gần đúng. Yes. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Attachment to the terminology. No, không phải. Here's what happens. Once the arhats experience emptiness of the self, một khi mà cái ngài A-la-hán đó đã đắc được cái ngã không rồi, okay? He realizes it. Ngài phát giác rằng, okay? The way that they explain it is that they attach to the Dharma of emptiness. Thì sách vở nói đó, là họ chấp vào cái pháp của cái không, whatever it means. And no one can explain to me what it really means. Mà không ai nói giảng thầy rõ ràng cái đó nghĩa là gì. Thì here's what happens. Để thực sự như vậy nè. Okay? They realize that everything is empty anyway. Thành các ngài A-la-hán biết mọi vật nó đều là không hết rồi đó. Yeah. I am empty, tôi là không. Okay. This computer is empty, cái điện toán này là không. Okay. My husband is empty, chồng của tôi là không. It doesn't matter, không có gì quan trọng hết. Right? Therefore, they want to put an end to everything. They say, no, it's nothing, it doesn't matter anymore. Okay? I want to enter Nirvana with residues. Tôi muốn nhập cái niết bàn với hữu dư niết bàn. So that I put an end to all this nonsense that you mortals are so attached to. Là tôi muốn nhập cái niết bàn hữu dư để mà tránh cái chuyện ba si lô cố của quý vị. Okay? You are so dense, you are so confused. And I have no way to make you understand it. Therefore, I don't want to be with you anymore. Tôi không muốn cùng quý vị phiền quá. You are too much trouble. Okay? You don't understand at all. I don't want to be with you. Quý vị không hiểu gì hết. Ở quý vị nó phiền quá. Right? Try to explain to you that it doesn't matter. And you say, what do you mean it doesn't matter? It matters to me. Okay? Why are you so attached to this? Why are you so attached to that? Tại cứ chấp trước vào cái này, chấp trước vào cái nọ làm cái gì? Why are you so attached to your cars? Why are you so attached to your money? Tại sao quý vị chấp trước vào cái xe của mình? Tại sao chấp trước vào cái tiền của mình? Huh? Why? And the Arhat says, you are so confused. Therefore, I want to stay here in emptiness. I don't want to come out and face you anymore. tôi muốn liên lạc quý vị, tại quý vị nó phiền quá này. Okay? They are attached to the dharma of emptiness. Họ chấp vào cái pháp, cái quan niệm của pháp là cái không. Is that clear? That's right. To non-emptiness. That's right. Questions? Ai thắc mắc gì không? Yes. Đúng. Rõ ràng hơn nữa là mình tin tưởng mà tu, đừng nói tin tưởng một cách mù quáng, tin tưởng làm theo lời của thiền tri thức mà tu, đừng có từ tin tưởng. Cái đại thừa mình là tránh cái từ tin tưởng. Cái đại thừa mình kỳ nhất là cái từ tin. She says, asked very good question. She says, like this morning's lecture, we talked about Pure Land should not be attached to Pure Land. Reciting Buddha's name only. It should be reciting, doing meditation, should be doing, reciting tantras and so on as well. Okay, so that means that then you're not attached to all those things. Therefore, you should believe in the Buddha and Dharma and practice. I say yes, it's correct. But let me clarify for you. Not sure you only have faith. It's very specific faith. Faith in your good known advisor's instructions. Cái tự tin nó tai hại dễ sợ lắm. Faith in yourself is very dangerous. Mahayana, we avoid it. Mình tránh cái tự tin. Mình làm theo lời của thiền tri thức dạy. We follow the good known advisor's instructions. Okay? Tại vì quý vị đang kẹt trong cái vòng vô minh của quý vị mà quý vị không thấy được. Because why? Because you are stuck in your own sphere of ignorance. You cannot see for yourself. Your good known advisor knows it. He has no way of telling you. Người truyền tri thức mà chân chính người ta thấy được, mà người ta nói cái vị không tin đâu. Okay? And the only way for you to break through is to follow instruction. Then as soon as you get out, you see, he's right. My teacher was right all this time. Quý vị chỉ cần đi theo lời của người chỉ dẫn, người thiền tri thức á, ngày nào đó khi bị thoát rồi, mình sực tỉnh, trước giờ ông thầy mình đúng. Mà lúc trước mình biết là ông đúng. 10 years ago I didn't know he was right. 20 years ago I didn't know he was right. Now I know he's right. You understand? Hiểu rõ không? Phải làm theo lời thiền tri thức dạy, đừng có suy nghĩ. Is that clear? That's a real luxury. Được ông thầy mà dạy chỉ đường đó, là quý không thể tưởng tượng nữa. I give an example, thầy cho quý vị một cái ví dụ. Ví dụ Xiển Sử told me, thầy Hiền Trì thầy kể thầy nghe, when he went back to Vietnam a few months ago, is it last year or this year? Năm nay hả? Trở về Việt Nam. He went back Vietnam to pay homage to his teachers để tham dự cái đám giỗ của ông sư tổ. Okay? And there is a senior seated monk, có một cái vị hòa thượng kia, bị ông tới chùa chơi vài ngày đi con, tới chơi vài ngày đi. The senior seated monk told him, come to my temple, stay for a few days. Just come and stay for a few days. And he says, no, master, I don't want to go, because then he explained to me that because he went there, he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't know how to do ceremonies, and the schedule, they have different his schedule. Ông thầy ông nói kể với thầy lý do ông suy nghĩ, ông nói ông từ chối tại vì ông nói tới đó ông là không không biết tham dự cái lễ của người Việt Nam, không biết hoạt động ở chùa, rồi mình không có cái chương trình tu của ổng rồi, thì ông đâu có muốn đổi cái đó đâu. Okay? And I said, if next time he asks you again, go. Thầy dặn nó lần sau mà gặp hòa thượng nó không được, hòa thượng nó mà kêu tới chùa là tới, đừng có suy nghĩ. Why is that? Because I recognize her sang is level is higher than his. Tại vì thấy cái ông hòa thượng kia trình độ cao hơn ông này, mà ông này hòa thượng kia biểu ông này tới đó là ở 3 ngày đó để mà giúp ông này, chứ không phải là tới chừng chơi đâu. Cái người mà thiện trí thức người ta bây giờ kéo mình tới để giúp mình, dạy mình, chứ không phải để mà phí thì giờ mình đâu. I know that the other Hershang is higher level, therefore when he told him to come for a few days, his intention was to help him during those 3 days. He would never waste your time. And that's faith in your teacher's instruction. Cái đó là lòng tin vào cái lời dạy của ông thầy. That's the proof right there that you are overly confident. Đó chứng minh cho quý vị thấy là quý vị quá tự tin đi, không biết được cái vô minh, cái hạn chế của mình. You do not see your own limitations. You have no clue. Is that clear? Nghe có hiểu không? Okay? And therefore, let me close today because we need to close and wrap up. This is the last week, right, of the 49 days. Cái này là cái chủ nhật cuối cùng của cái 49 ngày. Are we correct? Okay. So we need to conduct the conveyance, the rebirth transference, and chúng ta phải nên hồi hướng công đức cho bà cụ. Vậy đi. So in order to help the two vehicles, break the two vehicles attachment to the Dharma, thành là muốn để mà giúp những cái người nguyên thủy, người nhị thừa mà người ta chấp trước về cái và có cái pháp chấp đó. What do you do? We teach them to contemplate the mundane contemplation. Mình dạy cho họ là cái quán của cái mundane. Su quán, tục quán. Okay? Tục quán. What does it mean, su quán? I don't know. What is su quán? Tục quán là cái gì? Remember the attachment of the two vehicles? Thấy cái quán chấp trước người nhị thừa không? They say this thing here is empty, therefore it's no big deal. Họ thấy là cái vật này nó là không, thành nó chả có ý nghĩa gì hết. In contrast, we teach them, okay, to not reject this. Dạy cho họ là không nên từ bỏ cái này. Okay, there's no need to reject it. Is that clear? Dạy cho họ không nên bác bỏ cái này. It may be empty, there's no need to reject it. Mặc dù nó là không, mình không cần bác bỏ nó. Is that clear? So now we engage in society. Thành ra mình đi vào, dấn thân vào xã hội. Nhưng mình không để xã hội nó áp bức mình. So we engage in society. We go to work. You go to a restaurant. Okay? And you don't let the restaurant bother you. Translate for her. And that's su quan. We engage We don't allow people, we don't let people bother us anymore. Tin có tụng không? Huh? You go to the kitchen, you know it's a mess, but you don't let it bother you anymore. You don't avoid the kitchen anymore. Is it clear? Just because you know the kitchen is a mess and a lot of people are afflicted and you avoid it, it's meaning you're attached to it. You still have attachment. You go in the kitchen and you undo all these attachments. You don't reject it anymore. That's called Sủ Quan. Is it clear? Khi mình nghe cái này rất quan trọng. This is very important. I want you to remember this, especially young girls. Because someday when you grow up and you understand Mahayana, you have real wisdom of the adults, then you should practice Sủ Quan. You don't reject people. Mà mình càng tởm người ta thì nào mình càng tới gần người ta chừng đấy, để mình gạt bỏ cái tởm của mình. Cái tởm là một cái chấp trước. Does it help? The more you hate them, the more you should get close to them, so that you can undo your abhorrence, your attachment that creates abhorrence. Because that is suffering. In conclusion, the Hinayana people think they have put an end to all suffering. No, they have yet to put an end to the subtle form of suffering, their attachments to the Dharma. That's why they still need to cultivate. Is that clear? Thành ra kết thúc là cái bên nhị thừa họ nghĩ là họ liễu tất cả những cái khổ, thực ra họ chưa liễu hết đâu, họ vẫn còn một cái khổ cuối cùng, cái khổ về cái pháp chấp. Cái pháp chấp là một cái loài chấp trước rất là vi tế, mà họ đang khổ mà họ không biết. Okay. All right. So we end it right here today and we go into the reverse transference. Ngày hôm nay chúng ta chấm dứt ở đây, kết thúc ở đây để vào cái làm cái hồi hướng công đức vãng sanh. Okay? And besides, my legs are.
He says, well, I'm not sure what I learned, but last night when your daughter came and gave me the food, brought me the food, and he ate dinner. You realize that? Anyway, you practice meditation. You don't need to eat dinner. What are you talking about? Well, anyway, it's just me. I just have no directions, and that's why they like Master Shehan says, you make a step forward and you take 2 steps back. Okay. So anyway, so he says, your daughter gave me food, and then she gave me a hug. He says, and he says, it's as for me, it's as if nothing happened. She looked at him and said, I've been supporting you for 10 years, that's all you got? And eventually, he continued to practice. She said, okay, I give you another chance, basically, Chinese style, Chinese way. American, I give you another chance. Chinese said, continue to practice, okay? And then she saw him again and sent her daughter again. And again, he failed the test. And basically, she says, get out of here. Yeah, I'm not going to support a loser. So my point is that, especially in America, when people support you, you need to show some results. Okay, and so that's why I have this guy here. After 20 years, in the Chinese, nowadays in the Dharma ending age, the Dharma protectors are so happy to hear that you are cultivating. Okay, you're devoting your life to cultivation. They don't even ask for results. Okay, yeah. But anyway, 20 years of support, and he really got so little to show for, which is pitiful. So my point here is that you can grind it out, but it is much more efficient to get guidance. Okay, grinding out works for a very limited number of people, superior people like Xu Yun, who could grind it out his entire career. Okay, that's how he got there, albeit not as high as he could have if he had some better directions. Okay. Anyway, that's why we're learning. We make sure that we learn from the great teacher. Don't waste time. I'm trying to remind you not to waste time. Listen to the lesser instructions. Master Hsuan to me is the best I've seen. Okay, in this Dharma ending age, bar none. So it may sound simple, but actually it's very, very, very good instructions. So that's why we're studying his teachings and we listen to it, and we'll plant the seeds for great enlightenment for you. Okay, I hope. Okay, so here we are continuing with from the last where we're picking it up where we left off, the last Chanchi, some sort of Indian master here who came to China to propagate the Dharma, and circumstances have made him stay in the mountains and to cultivate. That's what we have a choice to do. See, if we are cultivators and people who don't support us, Master Hsuan would say, if no one supports me, I starve to death. So be it. It's not my fault. When I cultivate, the Dharma protectors are supposed to step up. If they don't, it's their fault. It's not my fault that I die of starvation, that I die from hunger, if I die from poverty, if I die from the cold. It's your fault. You're supposed to protect us. You're supposed to support our cultivation. You don't, it's your fault. Okay? So for a person like Master Hsuan, he says, okay, I die, so be it. But so that's why we have the option. We can simply go to the mountain and practice in the mountain. We don't need to pay rent. You don't need to pay for water, electricity, toilet, sewage, and so forth. Okay, so that's what this Indian monk did. He went to the mountain and practiced, and then he tamed some sort of tiger. Okay, and the wild beasts in the jungle, in the mountain. So he tamed some sort of tiger. Some tiger came and took a cane and tapped the cane on the tiger's head. There's a prior part. I read the prior part a little bit, a few slides before, and spoke Dharma for him. Can you imagine you take a stick and you point it to a tiger and tiger would not attack you? It's cool. Huh? It's impressive. I take a stick and I point it towards Xian Shun. She would run away or either attack me, you know. But the tiger, he would stand there and listen to the bull-headed guy speak something to him. Okay, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a very cool state. So you know this monk is unusual. He's no ordinary monk. If you take a cane and tap it on my head, I get very upset. Okay, so you can imagine how the tiger would feel. And then the tiger, after he listened to Dharma, he went away, never bothered him again. And he spoke Dharma for the tiger. I don't know, maybe tiger language, could be. And after that, they stop eating people. Are we there yet? We start on slide 5. Oh, okay. Continue.
游过这么几次啊，咱们以后这个人呢，再见到这个山上的老虎啊，他也不咬人了。
After a few times, when this person sees the tiger in this mountain again, it stopped biting people.
在这个山上他住了，大约有1-2年。
On this mountain, he, Dharma Master Gunavarman, lived there for another year or 2.
以后啊，这个宋文帝一定啊要请他到南京去。到南京啊，那个地方住，他就去了。
Later, Emperor Wen of the Song dynasty insisted on inviting him to Nanjing. He invited him to live in Nanjing, so he went there.
See, this is a difference of the times. Okay, back then, the emperors, our leaders, have blessings. And that's why they appreciated the Buddha Dharma. They appreciated, they understood the importance of spirituality. Nowadays, you don't have such leaders anymore. Back then, the emperors would sponsor the monks and build temples and so forth. Nowadays, they don't. Nowadays, it's tax breaks. It's all money-driven and votes-driven. Okay? And that makes it much more difficult for people to cultivate. And so the emperor heard of him, and so you understand the mindset of such an emperor. He says, I'm looking for virtuous people. And I heard this virtuous person, let's invite him. Okay? And so that we can benefit from his wisdom, from his insights. So that's why he invited the Indian monk to move to the capital city.
去了，这个宋文帝呀，就讲，我现在呀做皇帝，本来我也想吃斋。
He went there. Emperor Wen of Song said to him, I am now the emperor. Originally, I wanted to be a vegetarian.
但是在我这个环境之下，也不可能，这个情形呢，很复杂，不许可我吃斋，这怎么办呢？
But in my environment, it's not possible. My situation is very complicated. It doesn't allow me to be a vegetarian. What shall I do?
Okay, now, one thing that you need to be aware of, we talk about how the Chinese emperors used to honor the monks of virtues, wisdom, and that's the tradition they set for their own, not the country alone, but what they did for those great emperors, they taught their own children the importance of seeking out the wise teachers, okay, and seeking out the Dharma, because you look at the Dharma as a treasure, as a real asset to the country. So far, so good. Those are the blessings from the emperor and blessings from the people. Now it's not the case anymore, so we need to be aware of that. And now, at a smaller scale, we're not talking about the emperor of the nation. I'm talking about the emperor of the household. That lady, that man there. Okay? You listen to this, and you should also look at yourself, that you are in a position of influence. You have the foresight, and you can make a difference to your family. So back then, the people had the blessings. That's why they had a good emperor who would stir them in the right direction. Okay? It's not just the emperor's blessing alone, but also the subject. They have blessings, they have virtues. But now, we don't have it. Because, let's not go into politics, okay, Chan Phong? He's going to get all upset again. But you are the emperor of your family. Keep that in mind. You make a huge difference, can make a huge difference in your own children's life, your family's life. That's it. That's all you can do right now. Don't forget it. Okay? Yeah. Continue. So the emperor here, all of a sudden he says, I want to be vegetarian, but I can't. It's too complicated. It's not as simple as it sounds. What do? There is beluga, caviar, there is champagne, and there is excellent French food. Yeah, but not enough. Okay, continue.
他就对这个宋文帝说是皇帝的修行和老百姓的修行是不同的。老百姓呢，
He told the Emperor Wen of Song, an emperor's cultivation differs from a commoner's cultivation. A commoner
这个宋文帝要受五戒，要吃斋，不吃肉。
The Emperor Wen of Song wanted to receive the 5 precepts, be a vegetarian and not eat meat.
这个就这功德凯法师说，你做皇帝的修行和老百姓的。
So he begged Dharma Master Gongde Kai. Gongde Kai said, your cultivation as the emperor versus that of a commoner.
老百姓呢，他没有什么威德，他不能做什么好事。
A commoner doesn't have much awesome virtue. He can't do many good deeds.
你这个做皇帝的不需要你自己一定吃斋，你只要做令这个一切的老百姓得到好处。
As the emperor, you yourself don't have to be a vegetarian. You just need to do things that benefit all citizens.
你做种种的好事，这就是修行。 这个功德开法师对这个宋文帝说是啊。
You do all kinds of good deeds, that's cultivation. Dharma Master Gongdekai told Emperor Wen of Song, that is to say,
譬如你发政思人，请做这个好的政策。
for example, you can decree a policy of benevolence and only do this good policy.
你命令啊，这个老百姓啊，他们少杀生，这就是啊，救了很多的生命。
If you order the citizens to kill less, this action will save many lives.
不是说呀，在你这吃一顿饭啊，不吃一个众生，这就算呢功德。你要能叫老百姓。
It's not saying that you eating a meal without eating a living being counts towards merit and virtue.
不杀生，只要无形中啊，你就是吃的。
If you can teach all commoners not to kill, then imperceptibly you are eating vegetarian.
你叫老百姓的孝顺父母，这也就是你孝顺父母。
If you teach all commoners to be filial towards their parents, it's like you are filial to your parents.
你令老百姓的改恶向善，这也就是你自己修行。
If you order all commoners to change from evil to good, this is your cultivation as well.
所以你不必呀，说我少吃一点肉，或者少喝一点酒，这就是修行。
So you don't have to say, I will eat less meat or drink less alcohol. This is cultivation.
做皇帝呀，你只要能令老百姓都诸恶不作，众善奉行，这就是你自己修行。
As an emperor, as long as you can order the commoners to refrain from doing all evil and doing all good, then this is your own cultivation.
这宋文帝听功德开法师说完之后，他说
Once Emperor Wen of Song heard Dharma Master Gongda Kai's words, he sighed.
这个一般的沙门呢，他们都迷远；一般的儒者，他们都迷近。
Ordinary Sramanas are all infatuated with conditions. Ordinary Confucians are all infatuated with sutras or scriptures.
Okay, just for clarity, change infatuated are all confused about conditions. It's not infatuated, confused about conditions. And because I want you to listen to this and understand what he's trying to say, and then we'll discuss it later, okay? So if we let you, we allow you to be confused by this, confused by sutras. is not infatuated. They're confused. They don't understand. That's what Gung Te Kai was telling the emperor. Continue.
Ah. 迷缘呢，就是讲这个因果循环报应不爽。
Being confused about conditions is to discuss the cycle of cause and effect, i.e., retribution will not fail.
Change it. Okay, very good. Continue.
迷信呢，就执照这个文章或者这个典籍也是书所有的一切就是经书之类。
Being confused about sutras, scriptures, is an attachment to articles and classical literature, i.e., books, all kinds of sutra books and such.
今天我和法师你这一个谈论呢，这真可以了然天人的大道。
From today's discussion with the Master, it really gave me a clearer understanding of the great Tao of heaven and human beings.
Yeah, don't do Tao. Tao is there. Tao, it use a D. Yeah. It's
天人这种关系于是乎就给这位法师造了一个齐桓寺。
The relationship between heaven and human beings. As a result, he built Qi Huan Temple for the Master.
okay. Stop.
这齐桓
Okay. Questions, comments. You have no questions? Seriously? Back there.
Master, so back to the slide.
Which slide?
19 and 20 is that if you were to teach other people not to kill, become vegetarian, or be filial to your parents, you don't have to be filial, then you already become filial and become vegetarian. So does that mean that I teach other people how to cultivate, I don't cultivate, and I'll become enlightened?
Yeah, basically he's saying that if you teach other people to cultivate, you don't have to cultivate. That's what it sounds like to me as a Westerner, educated person. Huh?
I think only if you're an emperor.
Only if an emperor.
Yeah.
But I'm an emperor in my family. I teach
But
my
he's
family.
talking to an emperor.
I'm emperor in my family. I'm sorry, ma'am. You may not think so, but I'm an emperor in my family.
In the Chinese, it says all commoners. 你教老百姓都孝顺父母。
Yeah.
老百姓。
老百姓 is my family.
No, it's not.
No, you don't get it. There is a sphere influence. Emperor is big. I have an influence on my family.
I think the number counts. The number of people counts from this context when I read it in Chinese.
No, it doesn't. Your number is too small. Lão Bài Sinh is too small. It should be 10 Bài Sinh, 1 Bài Sinh, 1 Bài Sinh. Yes, there's a question there in the back. No? Okay, no questions, no comments. 7.
Oh, thank you, Master. The one part where it says about the focusing too much on causes and conditions, causes and effect, isn't that like the Pratyeka Buddha method of reaching like Pratyeka Buddhism? To focus on cause and effect? Why is it not good?
Yeah, it matters. What are you talking about, you sacrilegious person? Cause effect is a universal rule. How dare you question cause and effect? Yes, 4.
Master, I sort of agree with Rinpo Shenxing. When Heng says it is a few people that he's going to affect, when the emperor says that he's affecting his whole, the whole kingdom, all his people. When Master says that you're affecting all your disciples, that's a lot of people. But when Heng says it's only a few people, so it doesn't have the same meaning.
Go ahead,
Master, so if Donald Trump tell you to cultivate, meaning that he's become enlightened?
Okay, so the Chinese are disagreeing with the Vietnamese. Yes, what do the non-Asian think? 7.
Thank you, Master. You know, when I hear do the best with what you have. And when they say that the emperor has awesome virtue, that it's the same type of thing you were saying before with the vows to save all living beings, that this is an instance in which you take on the mind of an emperor to make a great decision to help as many people as possible. And every person that you do help is an example of an awesome virtue.
Okay. Makes sense to me. Anyone else has any problems? Yes, number 4.
From Jane, 区名, 百姓 means 100 surnames. 老百姓区名, 老百姓区名 his people.
Okay. Same thing. I stand my ground. He has his people. I have my own family. Okay? Anyone else? Diego, he says, I'm so tired. I have no energy. Can I just rest? Okay. Anyone else? No one is curious? Huh? Okay. Let's shelve it for... Yeah, 6?
Master, I was wondering, does that mean that, let's say we have children and grandchildren and somehow we're able to influence them or help them in their practice, that then we receive blessings?
Yeah, that's what the Gung Ter Kai, Indian monk, was saying. You don't have to do it. You just have to put more emphasis on teaching others how to do it. Similarly, like I say, I'm too old, I'm too busy, so you do it. You become enlightened. Then I also become enlightened. That's my cultivation. No, you disagree, a Chinese person? A Taiwanese person? 5.
I think that's taking too much liberty out of this context. He didn't say enlightened. He says he'll have great merit and virtues.
You accuse me of taking liberties now? It's getting personal. Wait a minute. I'm just an emperor of my household, my temple. Can I just be an emperor of my temple? It's not taking liberties.
He didn't mention the word enlightened in this context.
It's cultivation. What's the point in cultivating? You're taking things literally. When we say cultivation, the Chinese say, you Chinese people say cultivation. What does it mean? To become enlightened. Yes, ma'am. I will speak for you.
Yes, Master.
You may disagree, but when we say xiuxing, the Chinese say xiuxing, cultivate, it's for purpose, but it's implied. When they say cultivate, is to become enlightened. But the Chinese culture is very subtle. They're not as explicit as us. We are crude. They say, hey, what's cultivation? What for? I say, hey, don't you get it? Oh, you're not Chinese. Oh, by the way. So for the Americans, they say we cultivate to become enlightened. But for the Chinese language, cultivate means enlightened, to become enlightened. That's implied. Yes? So what he said is not unreasonable. Go ahead, Q&A. What a lively discussion. I discuss my own subjects. It's okay to disagree. It's okay not to agree. Yes, Q&A.
Phật, thầy con không hiểu, có thể là cái lời chỉ dạy của vị tăng này quá cao siêu, hay là cũng có thể là lời dạy của ngài không có đúng theo con nghĩ. Nó có một trong hai trường hợp đó, nhưng mà thường thì mình phải làm thân giáo, là mình phải làm trước rồi mình nói sau, chứ mình nói cho thiên hạ làm mà mình không làm thì con thấy nó không có được suôn sẻ lắm.
Amitabha, Master, I might not understand the teaching of this highly Sanghan. Maybe because his teaching is too superior, so that it might be right or wrong. So to me personally, I think that you have to 身教, like you personally cultivate first before you tell other people to do so.
Yeah, cool technology. You can look at his eyes, his face when he's talking. Way in the back there. I only see like a shadow because the lights are so bright here from where I sit. But now I actually can see his eyes in his glasses. He has no hair. So how cool technology is. Okay, anyone else? It's so cool. Yes. He's right in a sense. Oh, now Diego is woke up. You're a bad role model for Ron. Fourth day, Ron can look, in 4 days I can lie down like him. Yes, go ahead, 3.
Thank you, Master. I think, like for example, in my case that I'm cultivating right now, and my wife, she's taking care of all the things in the house. So I was thinking that she may have a lot of blessings because she's helping me be here. She won't be able to cultivate now, but she's planting the seeds for doing it in the future. So I think that's what happened with the emperor. He's helping all of his subjects. So he's planting the seeds that in a future life he will be able to really cultivate.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Speaking like a smart politician. Anyone else? Isn't it interesting? It makes sense to me. Go ahead, Q&A.
Con nghĩ cái lời khuyên của vị sư người Ấn này đó là nó không có chấp vào tướng. Bởi vì khi mà một ông vua mà dùng cái đức trị để cảm hóa muôn dân thì cái đó nó quan trọng hơn là cái chuyện ăn chay hay là ăn mặn. A Di Đà Phật.
Amitabha, I think that the advice from this Indian monk is not to attach to the mark itself, because once you become a king, an emperor, you use your virtue to rule, and cảm hóa is to change, convert, transform 10,000 of your subjects. That is more important than for you to become vegetarian and not drinking wine.
Okay, very good. Sounds good. Yeah, okay. You all make sense from your perspective. Okay, let's talk about, let's discuss it. Let me give you my 2 cents worth. Okay, he says, so the emperor heard of his cultivation, so he says, we could use someone, excuse me, of your wisdom here. So please come to the capital. And he went there. So kudos to the emperor for inviting a person of virtue to the capital to shed lights on his problems and provide new perspectives for the country. Okay, that's so important. And this is a great emperor. It's just something that should be encouraged, and it's not happening anymore. Okay, that's the advantage of having the emperor. So in a Chinese system where they have an emperor, and that's why they don't have to worry that much about re-election and or allegation of fraud and so forth. Okay, so there's a real advantage here that they have. That he has. So invited here to go to Nanjing, and he went there, emperor says, I have this burning question. I want to be vegetarian. Okay, but it's too complicated. It's not that simple. I cannot be vegetarian, so how do I become vegetarian? I can't. I try to be vegetarian, but I can't. And what happened is that this is what happens when you as a monk go to the emperor's office. Okay? You now have to talk to the emperor, and you have to give the emperor something that more suitable for him, for the emperor. So he says, you're not a commoner, so you're different. Okay? My point here is that, to me, from a purist perspective, this is compromising. Be careful now. He's going to unravel a little bit later. He's compromising himself. He says, I cultivate, but my cultivation is different from yours. Therefore, I excuse you from being vegetarian. I can be vegetarian, others can be vegetarian, but you can be excused. Okay? That is a compromise that usually occurs because you're under pressure. You're given all these honors, all the attention, the promise of support. You don't have to go back to the mountain anymore. And so it's tempting for you as a monk. Sangwok is laughing now. He says, okay? If you go to the, you go and there, this great things you can get. Warmth, food, water, sewage, toilets, nice bathrooms for us Americans, okay? Okay, insulation, a roof over your head. You don't have to walk in the rain anymore. And you don't have to go down to the river and fetch water anymore. You have running water. So you have different frame of perspectives. all of a sudden. And therefore, you speak differently. And this is what he says. You are different. I understand. To me, this is sort of like parallel, the parallel worlds. Okay? I cultivate, we cultivate, but you don't have to. But your cultivation is different. Why does it have to be different? Are you kidding me? So you're exempt from the commoner's cultivation? So since when is Buddhism discriminatory? He says, I teach you differently from the next person. Because you're different, because you're better, because you are higher status. That's what you run the risk of making your Dharma look like. You have a Dharma that serves the emperor and make it more convenient for him when the commoners still have to suffer. That Dharma is fine. Okay? But it's not pure Mahayana. I doubt that Master Shua would say that. I doubt it very much. He's dead already, so I can't confirm it. Yes, 8.
I see the fact thầy con không understand that why the emperor cannot be vegetarian. I think.
Well, it doesn't matter. The reason is that he says, I can't. It's too complicated. It's too very difficult for me. And the guy immediately says, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Don't worry. You're exempt. And here's how you can be exempted.
Sound like
You don't need to know the details, but the point is that he's too quick at jumping to the rescue the emperor. That's my problem. Yes, 4.
From Brady, changing food habits to vegetarian is a method of achieving the greatest good to the greatest many.
Come again?
Changing food habits to vegetarian is a method of achieving the greatest good to the greatest many.
Yes, true. Continue.
From Zhihong, in Chinese, we also say 上行下效, which means what is done at the top, those below will follow suit. That is also how the awesome virtue is manifested, another way of teaching.
Absolutely. Buddhism is to teach by example. You cannot say, you should be vegetarian, but I, as an emperor, don't have to be vegetarian because I have state duties. I had to drink with the other emperors. It's necessary for me to force a strong relationship with other emperors because I need to drink with them, I need to go hunting with them, I need to go eat meat with them, lobsters with them, steak and so forth. When you're not enlightened, like the emperor clearly wasn't, you cannot have exemptions like this. That's not the middle way. All of a sudden, the emperor, the Japanese emperor, for example, this is what happened in Japanese Buddhism. What happened is the monks came and taught them, and then or the Japanese monks came to China and learned a lot from a great Chinese teacher. They brought it back and said, I'm going to bring back this great teaching here to my country in Japan. He came back. Emperor called him and said, oh, wonderful, you back. Okay, and exactly what happened here. Same thing happened in Japan. He says, Buddhism is giving exemptions to the Japanese emperor. You don't have to be vegetarian. You can kill. And that's why the shogun would at night read the Buddha Sutra, and in the morning and say, go kill. Because they're exempt. So now, Buddhism in Japan serves the emperor, serves the royalty first, not the whole nation. Because they thinking is that you serve the emperor, therefore you serve the nation. So there are double standards in Buddhism. It's no longer Buddhism, you have double standards for confused people. Confused people are confused people, whether you're an emperor or not, you're still confused. Therefore, you must be taught how to remove your confusion. You don't, you will destroy Buddhism. That's what happened in Japan. Buddhism in Japan is personally weird. The double standards for confused people. The emperor is confused, but no, since you're emperor, therefore you exempt all these things, therefore you never become enlightened. If you never become enlightened, how are you going to be able to sponsor Buddhism in a proper way? If I allow a Chinese doctor who sponsors me to tell me what to do, or influence my actions, how can I cultivate? I'm asking you. It's a very fundamental question. If I need to answer to you. I need to answer someone who pays for my bills. That's bound to happen. Yes? This is why the Chinese Chan masters would not go to the capital city upon the emperor's invitation. They say, hey, it's not going to work for me. I can't teach you. You're looking for a dharma from me to suit your needs as an emperor, not as a confused emperor. You see the angle here is that he's confused emperor. And this guy here is giving him exemptions for an enlightened emperor. You understand? You're an enlightened emperor, you don't have to be vegetarian. You can eat anything you want. I can't care less. But if you're confused and you want to become enlightened, become a better emperor, you better be vegetarian. Is it clear? That's why this kind of brand of Buddhism cannot go very far with the emperor, with the country. It didn't last. I don't have any writing or any things from this Gunther Kai, Indian guy. If he has it, I would throw it in a trash can myself. This kind of Buddhism serves the emperor's needs to help him remain confused. How can he be a better emperor if he is allowed to remain confused? This is not a popularity contest. It's not because we need to say something to make the president happy or the emperor happy or the party secretary happy, whatever, okay? It's about what we tell you to help you remove your confusion. That's our jobs. Not to perpetuate your confusion. Because this guy, the emperor, started with a good intention. He says, I want to remove my confusion. I feel that being vegetarian is a good thing for me to get started. Instead of encouraging it, he says, no, you can be exempted. That's what you say to emperors, to please them. You're special, you're exempt from this. You're not as confused, you know? Your confusion will go away eventually. It's a sales pitch. This is what this guy is doing to the emperor. That's why the emperor, what? So happy, he says, I will build temples for you. I will sponsor a lot of monks and nuns. And the guy went away and said, see, I helped Buddhism become stronger in China. My mission accomplished. Better in the back. Mission accomplished. I built temples. I have monks and nuns studying Buddhism. Resounding success. Can the monks and nuns who depend on such money, such temples, become enlightened, you think? Have you thought about it? Huh? If this temple here, you came to do a chanchi, came about because I stole money from others, I cheated others, okay? In order for the big goal of helping humanity, helping build Buddhism, what are your chances of becoming enlightened if the foundation of your cultivation of this chanchi is based on corruption and thievery and delusion? The food you eat will be tainted. The water you drink. Okay? Yes, 6.
Brady has here, surely you cannot be a confused emperor and really be enlightened, right, Master?
Come again?
Brady McBride has here on YouTube. Surely you cannot be a confused emperor and really be enlightened, right, Master?
Of course not. I feel for this emperor. He started with good intentions. And this guy says, you know what, I have a way, I have an exemption for you. I would throw him out myself. I want no special treatment, you hear? I'm confused. Treat me like a confused person. That's why I ask. It's important because when you come to a temple, okay, you know different from this emperor here. He says, I want to be vegetarian. I want to open my wisdom. I want to cultivate, okay? And because you drive a nice car, and we notice it because you have cameras here in the parking lot. I say, oh, look at that. Who is that? It's Vicky, Lexus, SUV. Okay? So, treat her differently. You know, I remember I was at Blue Mountain Temple. Okay, that tiny, tiny temple over there is not even a temple, like 2 houses put together. About the size of 2 houses put together. And Gu Yin is there because Gu Yin was cooking for us. Okay, back then. It was good times back then. Now Gu Yin doesn't have time for us anymore. So I remember we were very poor and no one took us seriously. And because the relics came, and so I think it's a Vietnamese gentleman family came to our temple because they heard of the relics. So they asked, can we see the relics? Okay, and whatever. And then after they, were shown relics, okay, and they presented me with a check, okay, $1,500. Okay, immediately he wrote a check. Can I make a donation, Master? $1,500. I still remember it. It's a big check for me. And so my point here is that very rarely did I find a first-time visitor give me a check of $1,500. So immediately I said, what kind of car does he drive? So surely enough, it's a Mercedes S-Class. Five something, it's not even 4. So my point here is that they do things to expect special treatment. So what did I do? I took a check, I put it in my pocket, and it's only later I found out $1,500. I usually take a check and put it in my pocket, okay, to show, oh, thank you. Okay, I don't go like this. Because if I go in like this, I'd be, oh, thank you so much. Okay, so put it like that. And later, that's when I found out the amount. But he was disappointed. It showed in his face. I mean, he said like, is that all? Thank you, that's it? No tea? You're not going to talk to me? Seriously? I just spent $1,500 for nothing? You got my point? This guy expects special treatment, and the monk gave it to him immediately. That's why his Dharma didn't last very long. Because he's serving the elite. Yes, 3.
Thank you, Master. So we can say that he climbed on conditions?
Yes, exactly. That's what Master Shinhua said. Don't climb on conditions. You cultivate. When you're a monk, you better climb on conditions. Because I said, S-Class only? Come on, if you're rich, you come to my temple, at least drive a Bentley. Then I pay attention to you. No one yet. That's why I'm saying Bentley, okay? When the next guy drives a Bentley, I say, only a Bentley? Maybach, man. Anyway, so he says, the emperor wanted 5 priests vegetarian or eat meat, and then Gung Te Kai immediately says, I give you an exemption. You are the exception. Of course, you are the exception. I will exempt you from it. Here's the problem. This is why the virtuous Chan masters refuse to go to the capital city to see the emperor and talk to the emperor. Because you go there, you're bound to do this. If you didn't, the emperor would be offended. Like what happened to Bodhidharma. Emperor Wu of Liang dynasty didn't hear what he wanted from great master Bodhidharma. And that's why later on, Emperor Wu of the Liang dynasty fell and became a hungry ghost. His mistreatment of Bodhidharma precipitated it. So if you do it wrong, you push them down to fall. And if you do it right, they will be offended and then they will ostracize Buddhism. This is why you better opt not getting near them. And see, clearly Gungta Kai was not enlightened yet. That's why he climbed on conditions immediately. Is that clear? So you understand the difference between you and Gungta Kai. Do you understand? You can be doing a Chan Chi for 20 years. Like that Taiwanese monk I met. He says, I go to China for 20 years now, 8 months. Typically, I spend 8 months of the year in China doing the Chan Chi. But if you do that and you don't have the proper foundation, you can't get very far. This is why you should be so grateful. This is why every evening, morning ceremony, evening ceremony, what do we do? Say, do not climb on conditions. Because if you do, you may be practicing for 20 years, okay? But your doctor supporter calls, say, hey, and you climb on conditions, all your merit and virtues are gone. It takes people like Bodhidharma, like Master Shenhua, who decided to make personal sacrifices. Bodhidharma could have a huge series of temples throughout China and spread Buddhism very quickly. All he had to do is be nice to Emperor Wu of Liang dynasty. That's all it took. Why not? He could have done it, but he didn't. Why not? So that he could transmit it to the second Chinese patriarch, the pure Dharma, not a corrupted Dharma that has been contaminated by power, by money, by influence. Because that, whatever he transmitted to second patriarch, Hui Ge, is a pure Dharma. If he had the temples and he gave all those temples to Hui Ge and say, hey, listen, you're my successor and you have all these institutions, all these followers that you can build upon, okay? Chinese Buddhism would not be as strong, as great as it was. Now you understand why every morning, every evening, you recite, okay, what is it, the 3 principles? Huh? I forgot. You better not forget. Hey, retired spy, what are the 3 principles? You better remember.
Mô Phật và Thầy. Mình Quảng Ngân muốn nói thì cũng hơi dài nữa. Giống cái ông sư này đó, ổng mà bây giờ kể về cái ông sư này, ổng ở Ấn Độ, ổng qua mà ổng nói chuyện tiếp xúc với cái ông vua Đế Thích này đó, là ổng cũng có một cái định lực. Rồi cái người ông vua này đó, ông vua Đế Thích này đó, thì ổng cũng có một cái nước của ổng đó, là cái quyền lực của ổng rất là mạnh. Mà ông vua này đó, ông sư này đó, thì ổng mới khuyên ông này, bây giờ ông á, làm tốt, làm cái gì đó là ông miễn phí hết. Là ông vua Đế Thích này, ông nghe ông cũng tung luận theo, thì ông cũng độ được một số người, chứ không phải là không đâu. Mà cái ông sư này đó, ông cũng độ được cái ông vua Đế Thích này nữa. Mà rồi đó còn muốn đi vô sâu thêm nữa đó, thì muốn lên tới đại thừa đó, thì cái đó là thầy để tùy theo cho ông tu thêm một cấp bậc nữa. Thầy ngồi nghĩ thầy này, cái ông sư này đó, thầy ổng cũng có một cái định lực mà để ông độ cái ông vua Đế Thích này. Ông vua Đế Thích này đó là ổng một cái nước đó là ổng cái quyền lực ông rất là mạnh, biết không? Ông muốn người ta sống là sống, muốn người ta chết là chết, muốn người sao mà ông độ được cái ông này đó, ông khỏi ăn chay, ăn miễn phí rồi này kia, là cúng một cái tốt cứu cho một cái đất nước này. Thì ông sư này ông cũng độ được cái ông vua Đế Thích này những cái giống ngày Hòa Thượng Tuyên Hóa vậy đó. Nói ông Bút đó, cha Bút đó, ông á, bây giờ muốn nghe lời tôi đó thì ông trong vòng 4 năm cái tiền lương này ông lãnh, mà ông có dám làm không? Ông Bút ông không có dám làm, bởi vì không có dám làm thì sư phụ đó thì cũng không có cho một cái quyền lực, không có cho một cái quyền lực cho ổng để cho ổng thấy. Mô Phật.
Amitabha Master, Boyin would like to say something, but it's kind of long. Just like this monk, he came from India. He met with the emperor and talked to the emperor. That means that he has to have samadhi. This emperor, he has a power over the country, so he's very powerful. So then this monk taught the emperor to do that, and the emperor do as instructed. That means that the emperor actually crossed over many people, not just like that, but if he wanted to go deep into Mahayana, he has to cultivate in a different level. So therefore, I think that the monk can cross over the emperor in that way, must have samadhi, and he also cross over many people in that way. Just like Venerable Xuanhua, he wanted to cross over the Bush father. Master Huat said that if you wanted to continue to become a president, you must not receive for your your wages for 4 years. Therefore, I think Venerable Shenhua wanted to teach the Buddha fathers that way.
Mm-hmm. So that's why it's important for you to appreciate the foresight of Master Shenhua. He says, 动死不攀缘，饿死不化缘，穷死不求缘. Got that? That's the spirit. And that's why I commend the second patriarch. That's what he's doing. It got transmitted to the second generation. Because Master Shenhua had to make sacrifices in order for that to happen. Okay? So he says, oh, you exempt, you're not a commoner. You don't have much awesome virtue. Waiter. Waiter here is not awesome virtue. Here, waiter here in the sense of you don't have the ability to keep people in awe, or your influence, power influence. Okay, but it's okay. You understand the concept here. He says you have a lot of influence, you have a lot of power, okay, and virtue. Unlike you, commander doesn't have it. You don't have. Therefore, you are exempt. Okay, and here's what happens to a politician. Like the emperor says, okay, yeah, okay, then I don't have to cultivate. I'm special. There's a way. This Dharma is cool. This Dharma makes exceptions for me. Even though I'm, still confused, I'm exempt. I have a problem with that. When I listen to this, I say, oh my God, this really hurts. For what? You need to benefit all citizens. And it says all kinds of good deeds, that's cultivation. Okay? And need to do things and benefit citizens. So basically it says it's practice giving. That's his Dharma door. He says, you just practice giving. You don't worry about keeping precepts or take the hard way. Okay, you are exempt from hard work and from making personal sacrifices. You just ask others to make sacrifices. And that's Buddhism for the royalty. You see? Sounds familiar? That's what happens in Japan. You can decree policy benevolence, only do policy. You have to tell them to kill less, it will save many lives. You see, of course it's true. And this is a sales pitch from a monk using the Buddhist principles disguised as Buddhist instructions. It's just a sales pitch. This emperor says, I want to cultivate, I want to be vegetarian. Can you help me? He says, no, you don't have to be vegetarian. It's too difficult for you. Well, you know why not? Because you are special. This is what I, as an emperor, hear from what this monk was telling me. I'm special. Continue to be special. So there's a Buddhism for the emperors and Buddhism for the commoners. Isn't that cool? I stick to the Buddhism for the emperor. You get it now? Disagreeing Taiwanese person? See, so now because you are one, and you only have to worry about yourself, worry about the 老百姓, the 1,000, the 10,000, the 10 million. If you get them to do the good deeds, you don't have to. It's the same as you doing good deeds. Yeah, so wonderful. Buddhism can be so wonderful. Get you to cultivate. I don't have to cultivate because I'm the emperor. So I am the head of family. I don't need to cultivate. You woman, go cultivate. You children, go do Chan Chi and so forth. Okay? And you do become enlightened. I can also become enlightened then. Yes, 7.
Thank you, Master. In other talks that you've given, you've emphasized that for lay people, there must be a middle way. And when I see him talking to the emperor, I think of him as the ultimate lay person. He has to take on the responsibilities of every type of lay life, be it a soldier, a cook, a guest, host, everything he must do that a lay person might have to do. And so I see him giving Dharma of, like you said, giving in any way that he can because he's so entrenched in the lay life. What would be his middle way?
What is what?
What would be the emperor's middle way?
Be vegetarian. That's a middle way. The middle way means that when you're not enlightened yet, there's a way for you to become enlightened. After you become enlightened, and then your way is different. So that's why it's very important to differentiate when you are confused. The teachings are designed to help you end your confusion. When you are no longer confused, it's different. Okay? So this emperor is confused. So he can only have to teach the commoners not to kill. Therefore, he's being vegetarian. What kind of Buddhism is that? I never heard of any such thing. You teach all commoners to be filial towards your parents, then you can go ahead and kill your parents. Because you only kill one set of parents, whereas you have 100 million people who are being filial to their own parents. Therefore, this is nothing. And you ask commoners to change from good to evil, evil to good, and that's you as well. So you don't have to eat less meat or drink less alcohol because you're getting others to cultivate for you. It's just like this lady here says, my husband will cultivate for me, and therefore I'm cultivating. Duh! Sounds good? Buddhism is wonderful. As long as you order a commoners to him doing evil and doing good, then this is your own cultivation. And he's so happy, he said, this is such, Buddhism is so wonderful, I will build temples for you. And you know why? I never heard such great things. Because the other monks could not explain it to me because they're confused about conditions. And the confusions, and they are confused about principles only. They can't advise me in what to do. And what is confused about conditions, I talked about, the cycles, the cause and effect, retribution will fail. Because, hey, I'm exempt. They couldn't even understand I'm exempt. You see that? That's what it means. I read this, what is it talking about? Oh, yeah, him. I'm exempt. I'm exempt from cause and effect. This Buddhism is fantastic. And the Confucians who brainwashed the Chinese very well, Asians very well. You lucky you're not Asian. We all brainwashed by Confucius. There's some good parts about it, but when you get to a high level, it's so darn confusing. Confucius was very good for stupid people who need to be kept in check to serve the emperor. You guys are lucky. You know, you're not Asian, trust me. Because the Asians are brainwashed. When I teach my Asian disciples to a high level, now I said, let me tell you, don't quote me your Confucian value systems. It doesn't apply to me, doesn't apply to us. Brainwashing is necessary for confused people. They're not designed to help them open the wisdom. They're only designed to keep them in check. That's all. So it's packaged under, you be humane, you have to be filial, you have to respect the rights, you have to respect authority in order to keep you in check. That's all. You need to blindly follow. Okay, so So that's why they have a lot of articles in classical literature, and they say these are the principles of humanity, humaneness, of etiquette, and so forth, okay? I'm not saying they're not important. They're important, okay? However, when you need to also be free from those constraints in order for your wisdom, your true wisdom to unfold. Confucius never intended to develop wisdom in the people. That's why the Buddha had to come. You get it? If Confucius was able to do it, why would the Buddha need to come to the world? Why did the Chinese have to go to China? And the patriarch had to go to China. So from today's discussion with the great master, I have a clear understanding of the great way of heaven and human beings. Meaning, I'm the son of heaven, I'm exempt. You human beings are not. It's disgusting. I read this, I feel like barfing. What kind of Buddhism is this? You cannot teach confused people this way. There's no foundation for this guy, for his brand of Buddhism. His temple, see? As a result, he built Qi Huan Temple. You give me that temple, I would take it, but then I would sell it right away. Because it's corrupt. I don't want it to be known as a Buddhist temple. I would take it because it costs money, okay? Sell it so, to a non-Buddhist person so that it ceases to be a Buddhist temple. We have our standards. And this is the problem with the young monks who says, I'm going to build temples. I'm going to save a lot of people. I'm going to teach people about Pure Land Buddhism and confuse the heck out of them. But at least someday they'll be saved. Buddha said so. You recite my name, you'll be guaranteed rebirth to the Pure Land. It might take a little bit longer, but at least you get reborn to the Pure Land. Isn't it better? That's why I call corrupt Pure Land Buddhism. It's not for everyone. Yes, it's good to have to go to these corrupt temples and so forth because that's all you got. It's okay too. But not for us. No thanks. And the sixth patriarch, all the great patriarchs says, no thanks. Yeah, let, what's his name? Sheng Xiu go to the emperor, okay, and get the royal patronage and build a lot of temples and make Buddhism such widespread throughout China. Wonderful. Sixth patriarch says, not for me. I will teach my followers, my handful of followers. That's good enough. Okay? Buddhism is big enough so that it has Sheng Xiu to serve such people, the Lao Bai Xing. And then the sixth patriarch says, I'm going to teach only, a superset of people. That's it. So that Buddhism had different levels. I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. Okay? This Gung Te Kai is okay. If he builds temple and he talks to the emperor like that, it's okay too. There's nothing wrong with it. But not for us. Not for me. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking our high road or anything. I'm just saying Buddhism has many different gradations, many different levels. Which one do you want? Is that clear? That's all. It's your personal choice. We're not going to stop you from going to, Qi Huan Temple. Go. Have fun. But when you come back, take a shower. It's fun. It's okay. We embrace it all. You understand? Please don't understand that I'm a high road. I don't care. This is inferior. No. For us, it's that it's not for us. You know? Buddhism still serves Japan well in a certain way. Okay? It helps. It prepares them. Just like my late father, he went to a lot of teachers. Vietnamese teachers, famous ones, and Tibetan teachers, and all those things. Eventually, he ended up on Master Hsuan Hua, and that's how I look at that and say, oh, they're being prepared to go. It's okay. That's Buddhism too. Okay, time is up, everyone. Thank you. So remember, Super Lotto. Now back to the real world, okay? We talk all we want, but we still need to eat tomorrow. You know, I can't express how grateful I am to Master Hsuan Hua. His teaching is so profound and provide a guiding light for myself personally. You know, that is priceless. That's why we're doing this. Spread the word. He's a great teacher. His disciples may not understand it, may not appreciate it as much as they're supposed to. But the teaching is fantastic. It's such pure Buddhism, untainted. Okay? Thank you.